request to all the colleagues in KVK that since last year, earlier you used to find it very cumbersome to deal with the skill data management system and our computer system, whatever it is, because I do appreciate the scientists are busy in their own work and it is a tedious job, and sometimes your computer worker operator has to do that. Last year we made a help desk here in Agriculture Statistical Council where any KVK can pick up the phone and get his problem sorted, not to run around here. And our managers are going to help on even uploading of the batches and other stuff. We also look forward that now recently we placed few greenhouse managers, few strawberry growers, few poultry workers and piggery supervisors abroad. So there is a demand for agriculture para professionals abroad. And when we are talking about Indian diaspora expanding, we should look at the possibility of placing these agriculture workers abroad. Also, we look forward that the subject matter experts who are, scientists are retiring from KVK system, university system at the age of around 60 to 62. But there is, almost 10 years productive period which is still left. We would love to have, and it would be our honor if they can engage as subject matter experts with us as master trainer, master assessors, and the content developer, so that your expertise is used on that particular front. So these are some of my random thoughts, but there will be detailed question and answer session later on. My colleagues are going to touch upon each and every point. We will make it sure that we are going to send you shortly our latest brochures of activity, and feel free to shoot any kind of query that you have got, any kind of project that we can do. Just before I forget, I think huge opportunity that various state skill missions are coming up with programs, and NABARD already does its program with KVKs. I think KVKs should make good use of these funds available under the state skill mission and actually raise their hand and say, we want the funds and we want to do, short-term, very ultra short-term programs, upskilling programs of 5 to 7 days. Do that and the funds are available, because not every time funds are available. And KVKs, if I'm not wrong, they also want to do certain new activities. So my colleague, we have got a regional office in Bangalore. It is housed in IIT building on Queens Road. And if you're passing through Bangalore, my colleague is going to flash his mobile number, Dr. Ishwar. He is a agricultural postgraduate from Harvard University from 1993 batch. And believe you me, all KVK scientists know much more about agriculture than us. We are just a facilitator of doing these skill programs and trying to do it in a structured fashion. That's all. Otherwise, we derive our strength from institutions, from ICR institutions and KVKs. I would request ICR KVK Kolar to mute your mic, please. And I think I will end with that, and would be available. And I wish this program all the very best. And my special thanks to Dr. Venkat Subramaniam, I think, to take this lead and organize this first program of its kind. It is not a TOT program. It's just a mutual knowing program, mutual orientation program. Right. So let's be in touch, and thank you. And it will be a great honor. And wherever I get a chance, generally I do visit KVKs, and I will be fortunate enough to visit few of you whenever the chance materializes. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aryaji. Your opening remarks and taking our request to strengthen our KVK skill ecosystem. Now with us, Dr. Ramesh Babu is the Director of Extension from Dharwad, US Dharwad, and Dr. Jiju P. Alex is the Director of Extension from Kerala Agriculture University. Dr. Chandarji, he is from this University of Agriculture Sciences, Raichur. Dr. Narayana Gowda, he is from US Bangalore. Then Dr. Sasidhar, he is from Shimoga University of Agricultural and Horticulture University, and Patil is from Athani, is from Horticulture University, Bagalkot. Along with that, Dr. Kulkarni ji is there, and my back home at our Attari, Dr. Gowda Chandragowda is there. He is looking after the skill strengthening in the KVK system. So I request all of you to strengthen our program and also participate, ASCII, and welcome you to this program. Earlier, I could not able to give in detail because of the network connectivity. I was very fast. So kindly excuse me for not introducing properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would now request Dr. Chandragowda to come on the floor, please. Dr. Chandragowda?
So there's some problem in the network, sir. That as I was explaining,
I
the
think we
whole
will, yeah.
you can start, go with the program ahead, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay. We'll start with the next presentation, which I would be giving a little bit overview on the zone and what kind of activities and the skilling ecosystem that is happening. I'll share my screen. Are you able to hear me, sirs?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is the. I'm briefly take you through the zone here and what kind of opportunities are available in the skilling ecosystem. This is basically the zone where the Karnataka, Kerala, and Lakshadweep is covered. In Karnataka, as we all know, that there are 10 agroclimatic zones and which actually harbors various cereals, millets, oilseeds, fruits, vegetables, breeds of farm animals, poultry birds, goats, sheep, spice and condiments, and commercial horticulture crops. And we have a huge opportunity in each of these areas where the skilling is required to be taken up. And each zone has a special requirements, whether it is the zone in the eastern region, whether it is the zone in the coastal areas. We do have a variety of requirements of skilling, right from the farm mechanization to the processing to the segregation to the reaching to the consumers. Coming to the skilling in Karnataka, if we look at what kind of agencies that actually function across the state, if you look at that, and currently we are having the Karnataka Skill Development Corporation. There is an authority here. There is also a presence of National Skill Development Corporation here. We are also present here as an ASCII in the southern region to cater to the requirements of the KVKs. We do also have the German Multi-Skill Development Center here. There is a Rootsat Institute. There are a range of scientific and technical research institutes, state agriculture, horticulture, forest, fisheries departments, state agriculture, horticulture and animal husbandry and fisheries universities here in the states. Network of Krishi Vignana Kendras in every districts. We have a network of ITIs, private partners, NGOs, community-based organizations, industries, and training centers associated with them. We have around 47 training partners across the state of Karnataka, and this number keeps growing because we keep on adding new partners into the process so that they will be part of the skill ecosystem. Coming to the Kerala here, we have a very special requirements in Kerala. If we look at a range of agroecological zones here, we do have 12 different agroecological zones. It has a very unique produce right from rubber, coffee, tea, special tubers, freshwater and marine resources, variety of plantation crops, paddy, and so on and so forth. If you look at each of these ecosystems, the range of requirements of skilling is also very different here. We do have a special cultivation practices in the areas where you have a requirement of polyculture, where you have a cultivation of crops as well as fishery happens, because right from the sea, lot of water gushes and you have a salinity, then saline resistant crops are required, and the skills required to practice both the things in same field is equally important, whether it is a pisciculture, that is a paddy cultivation that goes in the Pokali. Then looking at the plantations here, tea, coffee plantations, we do have variety of requirements there in terms of skilling using the farm mechanization aspects. Coming to the skilling in Kerala, if we look at the institutions present here, we have a Kerala Academy of Skill Excellence here, CASE, Additional Skill Acquisition Program, ASCII to service the state. We also have a presence of state engagement officers from the National Skill Development Corporation. We do have agriculture, animal husbandry, fisheries universities, then scientific institutions, the departments, the range of agencies, as I mentioned in the Karnataka. We do have a cluster cluster level infrastructures to develop the skills under the ASAP, as I mentioned, the second one, what you see on the screen here. Coming to the jurisdiction of the Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep, as all of us know, it is more protected area. You have a range of activities here associated with agriculture. We have one training partner here, which still grows as we go. We do have a large activities related to fish production here. At the moment, it's about 12,000 tons, which is produced here, and 5% is estimated to be fishable potential in this. And if we look at the range of activities here, we do have basically the fishery resource which comes from this area. And there are enabling activities related to animal husbandry, poultry, as well as dairy demonstration units in the islands here. And very few islands are involved in the cultivation aspects, because most of the area has been considered as the protected. And as we also see here, the Kutumbasari, what is practiced in Kerala, is also practiced in the UT of the Lakshadweep. There are about 35 Dweep Mahila Sangams which are established in the area. This is what I had to share just now here. And moving on to the next speaker, I will just stop sharing my screen now. I would now invite our colleagues from the Agriculture Skill Council who would be presenting now. I now request our next speaker coming into the program. Mr. Raj Kumar.
Ishwar, Mr. Ishwar,
yeah,
can I start my
back,
presentation?
Sir? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just... Yes, sir. Dr. Chandragowda?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Maybe it takes a minute or so to start my presentation.
Are you?
Hello.
Rajkumar,
Yes, sir.
Can you stop for a moment, because we will have Dr. Chandragowda on board now.
Sure.
Yeah. Can you stop sharing your screen, please? I'll make you presenter, sir, now. I have made you presenter, Dr. Chandragowda. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Dr. Chandra?
Yeah, I'm trying to share my screen. Maybe
Yes.
because of the internet connectivity, it is taking time. Otherwise, shall I make my views orally?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
Doctor,
Good morning, everybody. Till my presentation gets open, I will be speaking without that, but kindly bear with me. We have some serious problems with our internet connectivity in our office since yesterday morning. Our broadband has failed and we are not able to, we are connected through our mobile hotspot. So we have problems. Kindly bear with us. I just wanted to share in my presentation. One is the progress we have achieved. And 1920. In fact, we organized more than 60 programs in 1819. The issues that I want to bring to the notice of ASCII in particular are the problems that our KVKs are facing. We have organized programs on nearly 27 job roles, 18 in Karnataka, and we have related to the organization of these details many cases will be probably sharing their difficulties during course of these proceedings through sending their issues through chat box. But six major one is that ASCII portal is very difficult to log in and complete the requirements. You see, sir, we are Bangalore. But we are struggling to get connected because so many issues related to connectivity. And because in the situation of KVs, we are mostly located in rural areas. I have seen personally on top of this to get connected and upload the participant.
Sir, there is a problem in
Dr. Gaudish, there is no voice from you. What we will make a better connectivity, or we can share it with my mobile. Then afterwards, you can give your feedback, sir. So we can go ahead with the other program.
Is see assessment done with all the program done difficulties. Assessment is done with all the difficulties, but getting the certificate itself is another big phase which is under a lot of struggle. Because see, once they get trained, they come with aspirations to do something, either become self-employed or get some credit support from bank or get some subsidy support from an ongoing thing. There are so many aspirations for them. But without that certificate, very crucial certificate, they struggle. And every time they come to KVK, and KVK cannot give that certificate. It has to be from ASCII, and there are so many issues related to that. Then another issue related to certificate is trainer certificate. In fact, when we started in 2016-17, our KVK subject matter specialist.
ಆನ್ ಐತಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಹೋಯ್ತೇನಾ ಹಚ್ಚಿನಿ
Most of them are doctoral degree holders and degree holders. And
ಸರ್ ಏನು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ವೆರಿ ಲೋ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್
ಸರ್ there is a
Sir, it is very clear with me. ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕುಲಕರ್ಣಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಸರ್, ಶ್ರೀಪಾದ್ ಕುಲಕರ್ಣಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್.
ಸರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆಡಿಯಬಲ್ ಸರ್. ಚಂದ್ರೇಗೌಡ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಹೌದೌದು ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್
It is listening very clearly in my computer.
Sir, we are not audible, sir.
Not audible, sir.
Doctor.
Audible only now and then.
Yeah, it's not audible also, sir.
ಚಂದ್ರೇಗೌಡ ಸರ್ hello.
It could have been restricted to 15 days or 18 days, but 25 days and 30 programs could have been
audible.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, very low voice, sir.
Okay. It is definitely low because of the internet connectivity.
Voice is clear, sir. Earlier it was very breaking, sir. Sometimes it will come and
ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್, ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್.
presently no voice.
ಸರ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
Chandregowda sir, we are not able to hear you, sir.
Poor internet connectivity in our office today. Our broadband failed, and then we are using.
I know, sir. I know. We are no.
Dr. Isar, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Then okay, I will give my to him. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute.
Yes,
I will
yes.
use my system. How does it use this?
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now.
You are audible, sir. Now it's clear, sir.
I'll start answering now. I'm very sorry. I should go to another. I'm audible now. I am sure. I'll start the whole presentation once again. I will not be sharing the presentation. I'll be highlighting the gist of the issues that I wanted to highlight. We in Zone 11, Karnataka and Kerala, we have been doing skill development programs since 2016 and 17. We started with 18 programs. And we increased to 27 in subsequent year. We did maximum number of programs during 18, 19, and 19, 20. conducted more than 60 programs. We have a pool of 104 resources. And is there any problem, Mr. Ishwar? Can I continue, please?
ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್.
ಸರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಚೇಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಟ್ರೈ ದಿಸ್ ಸರ್. ಈಗ ಬ್ರೇಕಪ್ ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. In fact, I am holding my laptop next to my room window and then speaking. See, we have problems in internet connectivity, and that is the reason we are struggling. Now, I'll start that entire process once again. We have been implementing the skill development program since 2016-17. And we have a pool of 105 trained and certified master training. And we have been able to conduct 103 programs altogether till date, 183 programs, and 3,550 trained participants. And these are 27 major job roles under agriculture sector. What we have experienced, some of the issues I wanted to bring to the notice of ASCII. Number one issue is the KVKs are located in remote rural areas with very limited internet connectivity. And uploading the participants' details in the ASCII website and ASCII portal, it is taking hell of a time and efforts. This has to be simplified, and this issue was raised in the Delhi meeting also. And second thing is that after struggling so much uploading, getting that badge ID and then getting permission to start the program itself takes time. And with all that, they struggle and then complete the program. Then the issue of assessment comes. Assessment doesn't happen from ASCII side instantaneously. See, normally we expect that assessment to happen on the last day, but it doesn't happen. And either the dates don't coincide or resource persons are not available. For so many reasons, assessment is not happening at the right time. And after that, see, assessment somehow happens with all that struggle. After that, the assessment, results, the process, the question persons who ask the questions, and the questions are not in the local language. So these are the problems that our participants have faced. And after that big struggle, the certificates don't come promptly. It takes a lot of time, and certificates, particularly the rural youth, they come with a lot of aspirations that they do something with a certificate, either get job or get bank credit support, or get some subsidy, some support. But their certificates don't come. I mean, they are not available in the ASCII portal as and when they are done. Then there are issues related to master trainers certificates. It's see, our people are highly qualified, at least master degree in their respective profession, and majority are doctorates. And in spite of that, they undergo your mandatory trainers training program. Then they get assistant certified, but that certificates are valid only for 2 years. We don't understand that when they are in a public system, research system and extension system, their certificates can be lifetime, as long as they are linked to this ASCII or the university or the institute. Their certificate should be valid for the lifetime. And there are now issues related to funds and budget available. Many KVKs do not have adequate residential facilities. They have a pharmacy hostel, but it is not so much available in terms of numbers as well as for longer duration, because they have other committed programs also. If they are one program, that entire hostel is blocked for about 30 days. They won't be able to do any other program. So sometimes they may have to outsource certain things, and for which budget component has to be increased. And there are issues related to course content, duration. Many KVK people feel that these programs can be shortened, maybe 15 days, 18 days instead of 25 to 30 days. So this is what we have frequently raising with ASCII. And once you reduce the duration, your course content has to be appropriately revised, curriculum has to be revised, and it requires a lot of changes. So please take care of these issues, and we'll be able to do much better. And there are issues related to the post-training support. Now, when we assessed their aspirations, majority are willing to become self-employed. I mean, start their own enterprise. But when they want to start their enterprise, they need a lot of other support, maybe handholding, maybe credit and financial support, maybe infrastructural support. These things are not properly forthcoming in rural areas. The agency, either at the state government or at various departments, should come forward to make use of these trained persons for supporting their schemes and programs for rural employment development. And most important is that now we are organizing our programs based on our own resources and our own capabilities. But what is actually required is that these programs have to be employer demand driven. We need to connect to the potential employers, private sector people. Now, if we are training someone on poultry, the poultry industry should be able to use them in their value chain development process, either as aggregators or raw material providers or input providers. So many areas are there. Probably the private sector can hire the trained people to maybe further their business, but in the process, they also help these people to set up their own enterprise in whatever way that is possible in the value chain of each job role or trade sector. So in addition to that, we can also bring in a lot of industry and trained persons interactions, so that the trained people know that what are the industry opportunities available and how they can make use of it. And we are planning to organize a lot of refresher programs to the already trained persons, maybe a week's program or a 5 days program. And this can be another potential area for ASCII to think about taking forward already trained people. But at that stage, what is essential is that you bring the stakeholders, including industry, private sector, to see that these people are properly linked for the front end support. So thank you very much. See, in spite of all the difficulties, in spite of all the workload that our KVKs are having, in spite of the minimum and limited manpower that they have been doing excellent job. They are cooperating so well with us and cooperating so well with ASCII. I think we should appreciate and congratulate all the KVKs who are as involved in this process. It's a very difficult process. I know that. I have been participating in most of these skill development programs, and I have personally experienced the difficulties that they are facing. So I wish them all the best, and I thank ASCII for taking interest in organizing this program, so that during the course of the day, we will get several things to know what are the difficulties that our KVKs are facing. And at the same time, KVKs can also appreciate the best interests of ASCII. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ishwar, for giving me the opportunity. I thank our director, Dr. Subramanian. In fact, I am speaking from his laptop for the kind support and the encouragement that he is giving for conducting these ASCII programs in all possible ways. Thank you very much, Arya Saab and your team, for leading agriculture sector in a very, very commendable manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It is very good to know that what all the issues associated with this killing and the difficulties what we have while we implement. Now, next speaker in the program, may I invite Dr. Vandana from ASCII. Is yours now. I'll be making you present.
Thank you, Ishwarji. Am I audible to all?
Yes, madam.
I have made you presenter, Dr. Vandana ji. Kindly come on floor, please. Yes. Vandana ji.
Yeah, I'm just sharing my presentation. There are some internet issues. I'm just trying to share.
Dr. Vandana.
Audio not getting, sir.
Dr. Vandana. She,
Issues are there. I'm not able to connect.
you are not able to share?
Yeah, I'm.
You have made center.
See, I'm on hold now. Shyam, message with some internet issue. I'm
Vandana. We are able to see you.
हाँ कोई नहीं शेयर नहीं हो रहा कोई शो अनम्यूट ही नहीं हो रहा It's also called a mask. If I'm not able to share,
Hello.
ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್ ಸರ್
Actually, I'm not able to share and connect. There is some internet issues. So maybe go ahead with the next presenter.
I'm going with the next presenter. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sukriti.
Yes, sir. Is my
Could you
voice
please
audible?
come on floor, please?
Yes, sir. Is my voice audible?
Yeah, your voice is audible. It's very
Okay,
clear.
sir. Okay, sir. I'm scared.
I have made you presenter already.
No worries, sir. I'm Sir, is
Go
my
ahead.
screen visible?
It's visible. Could you please make it slideshow?
Yeah, I'm starting it. Just a moment. Okay. So a very good morning to everyone. I'm Sukriti and I look after the affiliation vertical of our scheme. So affiliation is basically an association of any organization with the sector skill council who wants to enter the skill ecosystem and do different trainings in the NSQF aligned job roles. So basically any organization who wants to get affiliated with the sector skill council has to register through Skill India portal, and this Skill India portal is not made by ASCII. So it is made by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and we are just the facilitator. So all the KVKs right now who are working under the scheme known as Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana have been registered on the Skill India portal under two different modes. So one is the accreditation and affiliation mode, and the other is non-accreditation and affiliation mode. So there are two modes of registration on Skill India mode. And the first one we'll start with is accreditation and affiliation mode. So basically what happens in this mode is the training provider has to first register themselves on the portal. So KVK is the training provider. It's not visible. Just a moment. So is my screen visible?
Your screen
Madam,
is
our screen
visible.
is
Yes.
not moving. Visible but not moving.
There might be some network issues. No worries, sir. I'll just
Stop slide share. No slide share. Just
It's moving.
so now it might be problem in SlideShare. So I'll not just do the SlideShare. I'll just share the screen like that. It is visible,
Yeah,
right,
please.
sir?
It's visible. Please go.
Okay, sir. So any KVK, first they have to register on the portal as a training provider. So basically what happens in this, you register on the Skill India portal, you get a TP ID and a password, and you fill a series of questions, like a simple form you have to fill. Once you fill up the form, and then you have to submit that form. What happens after submitting that form, your training provider goes in desktop assessment phase. So desktop assessment of all the information that you have filled happens. And after that, you get a status of either deem ready or deem not ready. If everything is correct, then you get a status of deem ready and you can move forward to the next step. That is the training center creation and filling of the CAF form. Now in this, we are having some of KVKs which are in this step, like KVK Bidar is also in this step, in which they're creating their training center. So now what they will do, they will create their training center, fill a SCAF form, that is the center accreditation and affiliation form, in which they'll add their respective job roles, and then they will upload the respective photographs and then submit the form. Once the training center form is submitted, it goes under assessment. Now, in case of government organizations, there is no physical inspection. So the physical inspection step gets skipped away. So in this case, the government organizations are required to share an endorsement letter. Endorsement letter is nothing but a format given by the NSDC, in which you have to just mention some of the information that it is a government organization, and you have to mention your job roles. So once you share the endorsement letter with us, which is correctly filled, then the training center gets the status of deemed ready, and you can move ahead for the next step, that is simply applying for the scheme. So in the next step, you have to apply for respective scheme. Like most of the KVKs are working under Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana scheme, so you apply that scheme, and then the scheme gets approved, and finally you submit it for accreditation, and in this way your accreditation gets completed. The next module is the non-accreditation and affiliation mode. So some of our KVKs are getting onboarded under this module also. So in this, the first step, that is the training partner registration, remains the same. You have to fill a series of forms. Now in first stage, you chose the process type as accreditation and affiliation, that is ANA process type. Now in this one, you have to choose the process type as non-accreditation and affiliation, that is known as non-ANA, and you have to just choose your scheme as RKVY, put your proposal ID, which is simple, we'll tell you, that is RKVY 2021, accordingly to the year we make that proposal ID. That's simple. And same way as the TP form goes for desktop assessment, again the desktop assessment of whatever information that you have filled happens, and you get a status of either deemed ready or deemed not ready. Once everything is correct and you get the status of deemed ready, then you move to the next step, which is a scheme apply. Here you have to apply your scheme as RKVY, fill your information which is pertaining to your location, job role, and whatever number of candidates you'll be training, and this way your scheme is applied. Once scheme is applied, it goes for scheme approval, and once the scheme is approved, then you have to create your training center. Now you again, in this process, there is a simple process. You have to just fill up a little bit information of your training center. Now just one more submission in this. In case of KVKs and universities, the KVKs itself are the training provider, and they are only the training center. So there is no separate training center. So KVK becomes the training provider and KVKs becomes the training center itself. Suppose in different universities, it can happen that we can register, like there is one university, we can register, suppose Kerala Agriculture University will represent them as a training provider, and different colleges under them or departments under them can become the centers. So this way they can create their training centers. So this was basically the non-affiliation and accreditation mode. Now we will discuss most frequently asked questions. So first question that we often receive, we did training in a particular job role, but now we have got another job role. So how can we add or change our job role? Do we need to register again? So this is the most frequently asked question, because what happened every time that different targets are given, so the job role gets changed. So the KVKs get confused that they have to register again or not. So like most of our KVKs are affiliated with us. Now, if there is a change in their job role, so they do not need to register all over again. They need to just log in with their training center ID, and they have to just apply for re-accreditation. What happens when you apply for re-accreditation? Your CAF form again opens up. So whole information opens up. The information is already filled. You just need to move save and next, which information is already saved. Same, you can keep it same and just add the new job role and submit the form again, and similarly apply the scheme and the simple process. So that has to be done, not the complete training provider registration has to be done again. Now the next question that is mostly asked is, our status of training center is showing deactivated. So what should we do? Sometimes what happens, you create a training center ID and you do not fill the CAF form. And if you do not fill the CAF form and submit it within a timeline of 60 days, the training center automatically gets deactivated. So in this case, you have to create the training center again. So nothing can be done. So just once you create a training center ID, it is important for you to fill the form within the timeline of 60 days, and then you have to submit that form. So that has to be done. Now, another question is that we are not able to log in with our TPID and TCID. It is showing invalid password or invalid username. So this is the most problem that we come up among from the KVKs and the universities. So first of all, it means sometimes you're not entering your username or your password correctly. So what is username? Username is your TPID, that is TP0 something like 6 digit, and TC this is the username and password. You can keep anything. So you just need to enter them correctly. If you do not remember the password anyhow, then you can click on the forget password and you can change the password. But it is certainly advised that you should save your credentials properly, because sometimes it's very difficult to regain the passwords and credentials again. Now, next is, can we change our spoke details? Spoke stands for single point of contact. So sometimes what happens that one of the organic grower subject matter specialist registered himself as a spoke, and after that he got transferred somewhere. Now another person has come into his position and he wants to use his email ID. So yes, you can change your training partner as well as Hello.
Sukruti,
Sorry, sir. Something
what happened?
happened. I do
Yeah,
not
yeah,
know.
please. Yeah,
We will just
please.
take the FAQs again from. I hope the three FAQs have been answered by me. We have discussed the three.
First we are clear, go from
Oh,
fourth one.
okay, sir. Okay. Just give me a moment. Is my screen visible now? So my fourth question was, can we change the spoke details? So I was telling like the spoke that is known as single point of contact, sometimes they get transferred or some another person comes in their position. So in this way, if you have to change your contact details, you can do that. Both the options are available when you log in with your TPID, but just you have to remember that who was the first person who registered it, and his email ID and a number should be there with you, so that for the first go you can change the password and then you can keep yours password and the credentials. So you can do like that. Now the next is, can we affiliate under different schemes? So yes, affiliation can be done under different schemes for different job roles. Suppose some of the KVKs, now most of the KVKs are participating in one of our scheme, that is Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. Now if suppose the KVKs get target from another scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Vikas Yojana, then you can go to that scheme. You can participate in that scheme. You have to just apply for your reaccreditation, add your job roles, and then in respective job role you can apply for that particular scheme. So you can do it. The last question is, what happens when the training center validity expires? How can the training center renew the certificate? So some have come with the problem that our training center validity has expired. So what we should do? You have not to do anything. You have to just log in with your training center ID, click on the reaccreditation tab, and this way you can just renew your certificate again. If all the information is same, you just submit the CAP form as it is and just share your latest endorsement letter with the latest date, and then it will be done. So that's it. If you have any queries, then we can discuss in regard to that, and I'll also mention my details in the chat box so that you can contact me in case of any problem. Thank you.
We can have one or two questions from the participants on the affiliation and accreditation. Can any KVKs have any queries on the?
Yeah, I request KVKs to raise if they had any difficulties in accreditation related matters. Please raise those issues so that just sorted out now. In fact, Mr.
Sir, I am Dr. Robert from KVK Pathanamthitta in Kerala. Hello.
Meeting that
Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir, your voice is
Yeah, I just want to know, is there any difference between the registration process for KVKs and for other organizations? Like I understand NGOs also conduct the ASCII program. So is it the same platform or we have the different platform?
So for all the organizations, the platform is same. So all the organizations have to register on Skill India portal. But for private organization and for the government organization, little bit there is a difference. Like for the government organization, they have not to undergo the physical inspection part, whereas in the private organizations, they have to undergo the physical inspection, proper physical inspection of their center.
Yes, I understand. So this is where we would like to stress, because KVK is a part of extension system of National Agriculture Research System. It's ICR. So in the registration process, every year we have to go for the same process of registration with the all KVKs. So this need to be changed. In fact, this training program actually should pave a way for how to make the program little smoother so that KVK can take up more programs, activities. That need to be given stress actually. Then this center authentication we have to do every time, like taking videos and uploading and these things. Every time we have to do the same process. So this also need to be taken care. So for KVKs, there need to be a separate and specific system so that this is made little more hassle-free.
So for this, especially for the KVKs only, we have, as explained, there is another mode also, non-ANA mode. So in which they have not to do again and again. And in the center accreditation, like that is ANA mode also, they have not to do again and again. So most of all the KVKs which were already affiliated with ASCII previously, last year, they had not to do again the affiliation process. It was just the new ones who had their different new job roles had to add their job role. So the old ones who were already affiliated, they had not to register again. So they had not to do the same process again. Only the new KVKs whose either the job role was changed, they had to add their job role. Because it is the requirement of the system, because all the batch would be created against that particular job role. That's why. But again and again, the affiliation has not to be done. That's the submission. And we have the easier system also, that is non-ANA, especially for the RKVY scheme that we have onboarded, under which they have not to go through this complicated process. And we have some of our KVKs in South also that which are onboarded through the same process.
Okay, thank you, Sukruti.
Yeah, actually, this process has to be made very simple. Once people log in as KVK, it should be taken separate stream where all these processes are simplified. We do that.
At the moment, sir, there are Sukruti, could you please?
Yeah, I would like to chip in. So this portal, as I told before also, this portal is not designed by ASCII. This portal is the requirement which is made by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And this is especially for all the organizations who want to do training anywhere in Pan-India. So just for simplification, we had first the longer process, that is the affiliation and accreditation, which was specially made simplified for the KVK only, and we made it shorter, which is just a 10-day process. Like the whole, it totally depends on the KVKs how fast they do. So it is not a lengthy process. You have to just upload the photographs once. Now you are affiliated for completely. You are not to do again and again. So all the KVKs, we have 25 KVKs in this Atari zone, which got the target last year, out of which 23 are already affiliated. They have not to do it again. Only the new ones who have not come on the system, they have to do it again. And this is the requirement which is put up by the ministry, which right now cannot be changed. So we are just the facilitator. And we have not designed the system, sir. But we are here to handhold at every step.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam, this is Marindu from KVK.
is it possible to extend the period of re-accreditation? Instead of 60 days, you can extend the date time period, because we don't want to re-register again and again.
So there's no period of re-accreditation as of 60 days. So accreditation of a training center is for 1 year. So training center is accredited for 1 complete year. And after that, if you see, the KVKs do not require the affiliation certificate. Still, if they want their affiliation certificate, then they apply for re-accreditation. And in that also, if everything is same, you just need to click a button and submit the form again. You need not to fill up whole information or upload the photos again. So you have to just submit again, and you have to just make that letter, which was previously of like last year's date. You have to make it in this year's date and submit it. That ways it happens. And whole process we can do it like we are there here, we are supporting in everything we are doing ourselves. Also some of the like scheme apply step of all the KVKs are done by us only. So they have to just, which is the uploading of the photos, which has to be done on the ground. They have to do just that much, not the further anything else. And they have to just make the letter and that share with us. Nothing more, nothing less has to be done by them. Already they are affiliated. And so why we are pushing up on this is, just a second, sir. Why we are pushing up on this system is that the main scheme, which is run by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, that is PMKVY, has made this mandatory for all the organization to come on this portal right now. So further, if the KVKs wish to do the programs under that scheme also, then also they have to come. So it is a plus advantage for all the KVKs that they are right now affiliated, and further if they look for the targets somewhere else for other schemes, they'll get a plus additional advantage that they're already on the system and they have not to do again.
Madam, I am Dr. Jairaj from KVK Kannur. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, we have conducted 3 skill training program with the MADH fund support. And for the first batch, it was okay. But remaining 2 batches, during the time of evaluation, we have nominated one professor in Kerala Agriculture University to do the evaluation process. And from the ASCII, they were asking the evaluator to prove your identity, what are the qualifications of you are having a moderator or evaluator. So this has created a lot of issues here, because already a candidate, already a resource person with the professor cadre, we nominated them, and she came from another campus, and after that so many issues were raised. These type of issues won't be there in future, because it is already a staff of Kerala Agriculture University doing the evaluation process. Then the facilitator who came to conduct the monitoring aspects doesn't know anything about how to evaluate. So these type of issues has to be addressed.
Yes, sir. We have our assessment.
We were actually in a dilemma to how to handle this situation.
We have our assessment head here. She'll answer this question better.
Hello, Dr. Jairaj. Very good morning. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Jairaj, very good morning. I'm Shrinkla. I look after the assessment. So I understood all your concerns, sir. Please drop me your contact details. Post this program, I'll immediately get in touch with you, sir. And I'll resolve this issue.
Yeah, because we have conducted around 69 people were trained, and around 50% of the placement were also done. But these type of administrative issues has to be taken care of.
Surely, Dr. Jairaj, I'm so sorry, and it's actually extremely unfortunate that this happened. But trust me for this. Hello, am I audible? Hello,
Dr. Jairaj.
Yeah.
Dr. Jairaj, I issue up personally. I wasn't aware of this. Otherwise, this would have been resolved, quite early time. But please allow me some time. Post this program, I'll get in touch with you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can we? Thank you, Sukruti. Hello.
Sir, good morning, sir, from KVK Bangkok, sir. Hello.
Yes, madam, please.
Yes. Sir, we have conducted skill training from Manage our service here. The process of registration and uploading the format is very easy. So if active formats are in line with that, it will be very easy for our KVKs because accreditation and affiliation we need not do again and again.
You have not to do again and again, madam. You have not to do, once it is done, you have not to do again and again. It's completed now. That's what my point is, that I stated that in Atari Bangalore zone last year 25 KVKs were got allocated target, out of which 23 are already having the same job roles. They had not to do it again and again. They have to just simply upload the batch and move ahead with the process. So they have not to affiliate again and again. That's the point that I'm stressing here, that once it is done, you have come on the system, you have not to do again and again. Just if you require future, in some case, if you require the certificate, you say that we need an affiliation certificate. If it is important for you, and in that you see the date is of previous year and you want to change that date, then you can apply for reaccreditation. And if in that also the job role is same, then you have to just click a button, reaccreditation, save and next, save and next, save and next for all the steps, because all the information is already filled by you. You have not to fill again. Photos are also already uploaded by you. You have not to upload again. You have to just submit and just share the endorsement letter and the current date. That is also the requirement if you need a fresh affiliation certificate, if you need it. Because if the KVKs do not require that affiliation certificate, they just require the trainee certificate. So in that case, you need not to do it again and again. So that's what I'm stressing. You are already on the system. You have not to do again and again. Only if there is another job role that has been, you have been allotted a new job role, then you have to just add that job role. But in that also, you have not to do the training provider registration again.
Yeah, Sukruti, can we now conclude the discussion on the affiliation and accreditation so
Yes,
that
sir.
we
If
can
there
go
are
to the
any
next
other
session?
questions, then we can take it afterwards. You can drop the questions in the chat box so that I can answer to all the questions separately. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sukruti. Yes, yes, sir.
I request Sukriti's contact details may be in the chat box.
I have, yes, sir, I've already shared my contact details in the chat box. I'll share once again. Okay, sir.
Once again, chat box.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
We will share again, sir, with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now we will move on to the next session as we may I request Shyamji to come on board. One
Yeah,
floor,
sure,
please.
sir. Yeah, sure. I'm here. Is it audible?
I'll make you presenter. Yes.
No, is it audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, fine.
Please go ahead with your presentation. Sure.
Just. So, hi, good morning all. I'm Shyamlal Nata, and I'm going to brief you about the process of candidate registration and batch creation. So, as most of the KVKs in your zone have already been gone through this process, but there are few KVKs which are new, and they should know about this process. So, the registration process include 5 steps, as you can see here. The first one is the registration of the candidate. Second is the creation of the batch. Third is the enrollment of the candidate. Fourth is the attendance upload. And fifth one is the final submission of the batch. So in the first step, that is the candidate registration, what you need to do is you have to download the Excel format, which is already available on the portal, on the Skill India portal. From there, you have to download the Excel format. And in that format, you have to fill the basic details of the candidate. The details like the name of the candidate, his father's name, his gender, his mobile number, his Aadhaar ID, this kind of detail you have to fill, and you have to save the Excel. And again, you have to upload the saved Excel on the portal. So once you will go with this process, your candidate will be registered on the Skill India portal and the system will generate this automatic ID that is a candidate ID. So that those candidate ID will be the unique ID for each and every candidate. After the registration of the candidate, next thing you have to do, you have to create a batch. The batch will be created in the scheme, that is RKY scheme, which Ms. Sukriti has already mentioned earlier, that in that scheme you have to do the further process. So in that scheme you have to create a batch. The batch creation is like the process in which you have to fill the basic detail of your training program, like the training start date, training end date, the course which you are providing the training, and the mode of assessment, and the proposed assessment date. Those details you have to put it here. After filling these details, you have to submit the detail, and again here the system will create. Because most of the time we do receive a request from the KVKs that please provide the batch ID. So we don't provide the batch ID. The system will create the batch ID. So from there you can have the batch ID from the system itself. So once the batch is created, in that created batch, the next step you have to do is you have to enroll the candidates. So enrollment will be done of the registered candidate only. So like you have done in the first step where you have registered the candidate. So all those registered candidates will be visible in the batch. So what you have to do is, like I said earlier, the system will generate the candidate ID. So here you just have to select the candidate ID because all the candidates will be visible here. So you just have to select the candidate ID, and the option will be there on the portal itself for the enrollment. So after selecting the candidate ID, you have to click on the enroll candidate, and in that way you will be able to enroll the candidate in a batch. The next step is the uploading of the attendance. So here again, you don't have to upload any physical file or any attendance sheet which you might be maintaining at your training center or at your KVK. You just have to fill the attendance in the Excel itself. So in the previous step, that is enrollment, like I said, once you will submit the enrollment, the candidate will be enrolled here. Again, the Excel template will be visible here. You have to download that Excel file. In that only you have to fill the attendance. And please keep in mind that the attendance of the candidate minimum should be 70%. Below that, the system will mark the candidate as an absent or the dropout. So that you have to take care. So after uploading the attendance of the candidate, the final step of the batch is the submission of the batch to SSC. So once you have uploaded the attendance, you have to click on the options that is submit for assessment, which will be available on the portal. So you have to submit the batch for the assessment. So in that way, you will be able to create a batch, and we will be able to conduct the assessment, because once you will complete this process, the batch will be visible to us for the assessment, and we will conduct the assessment. Okay. The next step is, these are the do's and don'ts, or we can say the precautions which you should follow while creating the batch, because most of the time, like Dr. Chandra Gowda sir have highlighted many of the points regarding the certificate or the batch creation problem or the affiliation problem. So if you will follow these precautions, so I think those problems can be minimized, or you will need a less hand-holding support from our side, and you will be able to do these things, this batch creation of the affiliation from yourself, from your side itself. So like I have mentioned here, do not initiate the training on ground before creation of the batch or enrollment of the candidate, because this is a very important thing, because sometimes, now the system is not allowing to create the batch, backdated batches. So if you have started the training, so on that day itself, you have to create the batch on the system. Otherwise, if you are not able to do it the time, then and later on you will not be able to do, you will not be able to create the batch. The second is the registered candidate as per Aadhaar only. From your zone itself, we have received, and we are, I think we can say in future also will receive most of the complaints regarding the name of the candidate in the certificate. They just tell us that the candidate name on the certificate is wrong, So, so here I would like to emphasize that we don't have the authority to change the name of the candidate on the certificate. Once you have registered the candidate on the system, that we will not be able to change the detail later on. So I would suggest here that you please fill the detail of the candidate as per Aadhaar only. And in the Excel itself, one master sheet is attached. So like Chandra Gowda sir was mentioning that KVKs are facing problem in filling the details. So here the master's reference data is available, like where how you have to fill the salutation, the gender, the marital status, all these things is available on the in the Excel itself. So you just have to copy and paste the data from there itself. Do not fill the detail manually. Otherwise, it will create an error, and you will not be able to submit the page, or you will not be able to register the candidate. Okay. So this you have to keep in mind. And again, the mobile number of the candidate is mandatory that you have to fill. Again, now the system has give some relaxation here regarding the email IDs. So if you don't have the email ID, because most of the farmers generally they don't have the email ID. So instead of the email ID of the email IDs of the farmers, you can put the email IDs of the institute or some other candidate's email IDs, from where that if any communication goes from our side, then he can ask the KVKs or the concerned student for the same. Again, the next is like, do not fill the non-mandatory fields, because the Excel sheet, because most of the complaints, like sir was saying, that the Excel sheet is too long to fill and it is very difficult to fill. So in that Excel, there are so many non-mandatory fields which you don't have to fill. So please don't fill those details, otherwise it will create an unnecessary error and you will again not able to upload the candidate detail. Please avoid those non-mandatory fields. Okay. Next step is select mode of assessment at SSC, because in that, because some KVKs they got confused with the other options. In that options, one option is visible, that is the third party. So you don't have to select the third party. Please always select SSC as the mode of assessment. Otherwise, the batch will not be submitted to us and we will not be able to conduct the assessment. Okay. Here the important thing is you have to intimate to us, that is to agriculture SSC, at least 7 to 10 days before the actual date of assessment. So that we will be able to plan our assessment, or we will be able to send our qualified assessor for the conduct of the assessment. So later on you will not be face any problem regarding on the day of assessment or the post assessment. And we do receive many complaints regarding the certificate, that KVKs are not receiving the certificate. But this is not the case. Only 2-3 cases are there, which also because of the system error or because of the uploading error or anything. Because of that, the system will delay, the certificate will be delayed. Otherwise, we generate the certificate within 15 days of the assessment. We do not delay the assessment. We do not delay the delivering of the certificate post 15 days. And now it is the facility available on the Skill India portal that you can download the certificate from the portal itself as and when you require. You don't have to reach out to us. You don't have to call us for each and every time for the certificate. It's all available on your portal itself. Whenever you want to download the certificate, whenever you want to share the certificate with anyone, you can download it from there itself. Earlier, this facility was not there, but now it is there on the Skill India portal. So as I mentioned earlier, if you will follow these things, then you will require a less hand-holding support from our end. So these are some common mistakes which KVK generally do while creating the batch. Like Sukriti has mentioned earlier, Ms. Sukriti, that KVKs they do forget password, and they do approach us for the password and same, but we don't keep password for all the KVKs. So what you have to do is you just save the details or the credentials, that is login ID and password with you, Or if you, in any case, if you are forgetting the, or you have forgotten the password, then you just retrieve the password by clicking on the forget password button option, which is also available on the portal. Okay. The second mistake they do is incorrect name of the candidate. They do fill the incorrect name of the candidate, and then later they approach to us that the certificate generates with the wrong detail. So here, as I mentioned earlier, please refer the Aadhaar card only while filling the detail of the candidate. The date of format should be here, as I mentioned here, it should be like DD, MM, YY, YY. Okay. The mode of assessment I have mentioned already. The next step is sometimes they do mention the prefixes like Shri, Mr., Miss, either in the name of the candidate or against the father name or the mother's name. So please do not use the prefixes, just write the name only. Okay, and do not feed data manually, otherwise the system will again create an error and you will not be able to create the batch. This is the most common error, that is permanent address state and permanent address districts are incorrect. So again, as I mentioned earlier, the master reference data is already available in the Excel itself. Please refer that Excel sheet and copy and paste this data from there only. Okay, so these are the common mistakes we generally KVK do. Okay, so this is in this way I have completed the batch creation process, and here is my contact details. So if you have any query, then you can approach to me at any time. I will put this detail on the chat box also. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shyam sir. Now I request KVKs to raise the issues related to the registration, batch ID generation, then assessment related documents uploading, whatever it is, please raise the issues, Kenny. But my request to Shyam is that, see, there may be chances that candidates' names are, slightly entered in the beginning, but we want to correct the names. Is there any scope for correcting the names of the trainees?
So actually, sir, there is a process for correcting the name of the candidate, but in that case, it is a very longer process. It might take more than 2 or 3 months. Yes, sir, you are audible.
But in fact, my request is that why it cannot be simplified. See, now even JEE, NEET, they allow candidates to the details. They give time, and then it is made so simple. Why can't we make this process?
Sir, we can try, but as my colleagues has already mentioned here, this portal is not managed by Agriculture Skill Council of India, because there are so many sector skill councils are involved in this, and many schemes are running. Not only the RKY, MIDH scheme are there, PMKY, that is the flagship scheme of the MSD is also running here. So it's a centrally portal for all the institute or all the organization pan India. So we know that the KVKs are the best organization or the best institute for implementing such kind of training program. But but there are some checks which has been implemented for few of the private training partners, or you can say some of the training partners which are not following the protocols, or we are not implementing the training programs as per the guidelines of the ministry. So that's why the system is unique and it is unitary for all the institute. So as my colleague has mentioned earlier, that we have simplified the process for the KVK, like we have done it. We have introduced the process of non-NA, where the KVK has not to go for entire uploading of the detailed photographs and all. So here you can complete the process within 10 days or less. So I mean, we have tried and we have did it. I mean, in the simplified version, and we are ready to handle you at each and every step if you will face any problem.
In fact, the question.
Sir, your voice is breaking. I'm not able to.
In fact, I also in my initial presentation, see, the assessment has to be done by a local language, and the questions have to be in local language. This is a problem in some cases. How do you sort it out?
No, sir. Actually, we do have a qualified assessors. We do have question papers in regional language itself. My colleague, Ms. Shankla, she's also joined this webinar. She will be presenting in coming times, and she will explain you about this. Okay, sir. You can put this question later on to her. She will explain you, sir.
Can we, if there are no questions, can we move on to the next session on the assessment? Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll move on to Shrinkala.
Sir, one more query. Hello.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Sir, can I ask Mr. Shyam?
Yeah. Tell me, sir.
Please.
Sir, since this is regarding this candidate and batch registration, I just want to know, like we KVK work within this district jurisdiction, sir. And sometimes the candidates from other adjacent districts are also asking. So is that okay? We enroll them also?
Sure, sir. It is okay. Any Indian individual is eligible for the training.
Right. Okay. If the stay is available, they can make it, right?
Yes. Sure.
There is also another question. I don't know whether appropriate to ask now. See, there are our headquarters also. They have been given this ASCII training, and the staff from them also got trained for trainer's certificate, right? So, but sometimes they are asking us to take care of their training. Is that okay?
Sir, it is okay, but I mean that job role, you should be having those job role on the system. If you are conducting those training program, then you have to have affiliation in those training program. You should have the trainer available.
No, not. We don't have, because we got trained for mushroom, and we got allotted this year. But they got allotted for chili. But instead of theirs, they are asking us to take up.
No, sir. Then if you don't have the trainer, you don't have the training facility, then you cannot conduct the training program.
Okay. Because from ASCII, people are asking us. I have given so many clarification again and again. They're asking. Anyway, I got clarification. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay.
One more question. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
We are having one vermicompost product.
Okay.
It is we are conducting it for since 2 years, 20 and 21. But while creating batch, it is taking both the candidates, 1920 candidates and 2021 candidates, 20 plus 25. How to separate it?
No, sir.
We have to select recent 25 candidates.
Sir, the thing is, as I mentioned during my presentation, that whatever the registered candidate will be available on the portal. I mean, you might be conducting training from the 17, 18 to 18, 19 to 19, 20. So you might have conducted 3 programs, 4 programs, or 5 programs. Okay. So 100 or 120 candidates are already registered on your system. So while you are creating the batch, so at the time of enrollment, you have to select the candidate ID, sir. So you have to choose the 25 or the 20 candidates among those 100 candidates. Then you have to submit those candidates for the particular batch. So the candidate list will be available there, but you have to select at the time of enrollment.
Sir. Yeah, Dr. Shankar from KVK Tumkuru.
All the candidates are registered. Yeah.
Sir, KVK Krishna Kannada, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in selection of the candidate, is there any age criteria, sir, to be followed?
Sir, the minimum age is there, but we have not. I mean, now as per the PMKY guidelines, the maximum age should not be beyond 45 years of age. So, but the minimum you can check with in the qualification pack. It's all mentioned there.
Okay.
Shyam sir, yeah, Dr. Shankar from KVK Tumkuru.
Yes.
Sir, we have job role of 2 job roles. One is FOCT and another one is organic grower. But while uploading our batches, our computer program by miss he uploaded to the trainees list of FOCT to organic growers. But now it is very difficult for us to replace it, the particular trainees to the particular job role, sir. How can it be?
So actually, sir, you cannot do it and we cannot do it, but there is the system is managed by the MSD. Okay, so they do have the technical team.
Yes,
so
sir.
what we can do is you just drop us a mail. So we will send a request to them to cancel your batches, both these batches, and cancel the registered candidate. Okay, so then you will be able to recreate the batch and re-register the candidate.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
That we can do, sir. Yeah.
This is Dr. Manoj Kumar from KVK Kasaragod.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Grower. We have uploaded.
Sir, your voice is no, sir. Your voice is not audible properly.
Manoj Kumar, please go ahead, sir.
Sir,
yeah.
Yes.
Sir, we have conducted 2 programs in 2018 and coconut grower. We have uploaded everything correctly, but during evaluation, the person who came for evaluation, they might have uploaded. The names of the candidates got interchanged and they could not get the certificates.
Yeah.
Shyam, I would like to chip in here. Yeah, I would like to chip in here. So, sir, sorry for this delay. We acknowledge this delay, but please understand that this was beyond our hands and beyond our control. This particular, these 2 batches have been uploaded on the previous portal, which was an SDMS 1 portal. Okay. And what happened was that this portal got migrated to the present Skill India portal. At the time of migration, the coconut grower and the Friends of Coconut Tree QP code got interchanged, sir, from NSDC only. Okay. And they acknowledged this error, sir. And they haven't been able to provide a kind of solution so far, but they have advised a different route to us, which we are going to discuss with you, sir, after this program today. Okay, though this thing is not very simple, the one I'm quoting right now here, but we will be connecting with you, Mr. Manoj, post this program, and we will resolve this issue within a week itself. So please take my words, we will be definitely resolving this issue, but a different route will be followed for it. And we have to take a cognizance of the respective KVK in that, and me and Shyam would resolve this. So please bear with us, and after back to you, and we will detail you the entire process, sir. Hope I am clear, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, man. Thank you.
Thank you for understanding. Thanks.
Can we close the discussion on the previous presentation now and move on to the next presenter?
Sure.
We will just move on to the next.
Ishwar, sir, I would request you that if we can take, after individual presentations, we can have like 3 to 4 major questions, and then at the end of the program, we can have one by one, questionnaire session in an extended way.
That's what we are doing now, and
yes,
we will move on to your presentation now, Shrinkala.
Sure.
Please go ahead with your presentation.
So very good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shrinkala, and I look after the assessment process pan-India, and simultaneously I'm looking after the training of assessor program also. Hope my screen is visible to you. Can somebody confirm me?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, thank you for confirmation. So,
Madam, give the slideshow option.
Yeah, so I hope my PPT is visible, sir, right? Yeah, okay, just give me a moment. Actually, my system is actually, stuck when I'm putting the slideshow. That's why I'm not doing it. I hope it's clear. Just give me a moment. Thank you. So assessment process, as we know and understand that assessment is one of the critical outcome of the entire training program, and this is one of the crucial segment for determining the ultimate outcome of the trained candidates. So at present, the assessment process which is being followed across the entire skill ecosystem, mandated by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship in consultation with various line ministries with whom we are working. There are basically three components which has been added. One is the theory, practical, and viva. And I'm just refreshing this thing for everybody's information. I'm sure most of you are already aware on these parts. I would like to apprise you that there is one more component which is on the job training called as OJT component, which is going to be there very soon from in all our qualification packs from now onwards. So we are still working on that, and very soon we'll have the 4 different components. So with present mode, there is basically there is a mandate which is already there, that all the assessments across the various schemes and programs of skill development need 100% online, means that there should not be any paper pen assessment under any circumstance. So we try to maintain this, that there should not be any paper pen assessment, because if we go ahead with such process, then definitely there can be many scenarios and cases where we are giving room to lacunas and inaccuracies. So we tried to avoid that. So right now 100% assessment that we are doing is through tablets, laptop, phone, and basically out of that 90 to 95% is happening in a digital offline way. So it means that the question paper is already pre-downloaded in your respective tablets, in your phones, and in your any display devices, and then it is being administered to the candidates in the ground. Candidates are going to opt for the answers, and they will submit the exam. Once submitted, the entire data gets collected in the device, and it would be pulled in the same fashion as and when the internet connectivity is being provided at the head office of assessment agency. So at the head office of assessment agency, the entire result pulled out is directed to the system, which is the Skill India portal, and then shared with Agriculture Skill Council for final validation and vetting. So this is what the process is. At present, our 100% KVK programs are happening in that tablet way, and practical and viva voce is also captured in the rubric fashion through the devices after getting the demonstration done in the field and having the basic viva voce from every individual or the candidate. Now, as the pandemic, as we know that we are facing these unprecedented challenge in terms of the pandemic, and it seems to be a kind of never-ending scenario. So our assessments are also getting acclimatized to the requirement or to the situation that we are facing. So in this, we have started with our remote online assessment, in which few of the urban KVKs, I mean the KVKs where we got a confirmation from their respective spokes, and also we checked the bandwidth feasibility. We have initiated our online assessment where assessor is remotely assessing the candidate, and candidates are directly giving the exams on laptop or on their phones, sitting at their home. So this is a pilot act. This is a pilot that we have started with few of our KVKs based on in Delhi, just to check the feasibility key, how efficiently it can run in the longer times, so that we can have the replicability in all our 400 or 500 plus impaneled KVKs. talking about the methods and the instruments that we are following. So at present, we have multiple options to capture the understanding and the knowledge part of the candidate. But at present, to just go ahead with a kind of easy, with a kind of an easy administration, we are putting only and only MCQ tests and multiple choice questions and options kind of questions in our theory. The direct based questions like image based questions are also introduced now. And fill in the blanks is something which we are just trying to incorporate, and will be definitely doing so to enhance the diverse questions in the theory component. No negative marking is there, and it is recommended and it is always advised that all the candidates should attempt all the questions. So sometimes what happens is, suppose 30 questions are there and I'm just attempting 28 questions and I'm putting the submit button. System automatically takes that, but we don't want that thing, because we want every single individual to attempt all the questions. Okay, so that is something which is important. Talking about the practical part, then of course the demonstration, that is the critical component, and that is the key component that we are trying to have, and we try to evaluate our major percentage chunk, which is approximately 50 to 60% through that. And we are trying to incorporate more questions on some critical thinking and problem solving areas also, which can actually give a complete overview to some entrepreneurial and risk taking abilities of the candidate. Talking about the Viva VOCE. Viva VOCE is an oral questioning which is being done by an assessor and the candidate, and it go hand in hand. And we try to capture the knowledge and the awareness which we cannot capture through the theory mode, which we cannot capture through theory. So these are the questions that are administered and that for which candidates are exposed under the Viva thing. So talking about the theory assessment, this definitely most of the time all the theory assessments that we are administering, 30 to 40 max to max questions are there with different marks which are allocated, and on our qualification pack. So I would request that everybody can just confirm the qualification pack assessment criteria, which is already there. And the maximum duration that we have kept it is for 60 minutes. Minutes or 15 to 20 in case the job role is allowing that. And of course Viva go hand in hand while doing the practical, so that accounts for 5 to 7 minutes. Talking about the venue or the KVK centers, which are normally called as the of course at the time of training centers, and now there is new terminologies, and we are trying to give a new nomenclature as assessment centers during the time of assessment. So KVK centers should be fully equipped with domain infrastructure, the tools, consumables, and equipments that are required. And all these requirements here, I just want to have one request from everybody, that all these requirements should be confirmed to Sector Skill Council and assessment agencies much well in advance, at the time of the scheduling mail, or at the time of uploading of the batch details. When you are uploading the batch details, or when you are initiating the training, if that information can be shared with me and Shyam jointly, that we have all the domain infrastructure available at our place, which is matching to the requirement of the tools and equipments that is specified by ASCII. So these tool equipment requirements are uploaded on ASCII's website for public domain and for public domain utilization. So I would request to have a glance through the requirements once and for all. So talking about the responsibilities, we collaboratively request all the training partners and the KVKs so there was one case where I think Dr. Dairaj mentioned that people were checking of your ID and qualification and all that. So sir, we apologize for that if it has not been taken up in a very professional way with you. We'll definitely go ahead with that. But yes, government has prescribed some rules, norms, and regulations, and we are bounded by that. So as per Ministry of Skill Development, the KVK spokes, I mean, that has to be mutually and interchangeably. There should be checking and there should be verification and validation of all the photo IDs, and the identity of professor, the who are giving the exam, the training, the trainer who is there, the training spoke, the training center in charge. So it's a norm, sir, which needs to be there. And definitely what we would do is that we would definitely deploy some sort of soft skills training, so that it should definitely be taken up in a very professional way, so that it doesn't get anybody's sentiments here. Talking about the coordination, well, availability of infrastructure, as I mentioned, and there are some reasonable adjustment that this we always mention in our various programs, that there are some sort of reasonable adjustments, seeing the scenario and seeing the KVK requirement. If there is any special requirement that KVK want to have, the spoke can directly contact me and Mr. Shyam jointly for providing such flexibilities and such conditions availabilities well in advance. We will definitely do that. We are right now doing it for kids with special abilities, and we are definitely doing a lot of room and providing many of the flexibilities as per the norms to those candidates. So, but that needs to be specified to us in advance. Or if any issue is there, or if anything that cannot be provided and that needs to be provided, should be communicated to us in advance, so that we can prepare. Of course, domain tools, that is definitely for each of the job role, the different list is already mentioned on our website. And very importantly, last but definitely not the least, that documentation and the collecting of evidence is something where we require your full support, because sometimes what happens is that assessment starts, suppose at 9:30, 10, and it end up by 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and at that time there can be many people are in hurry, people are in hustle most of the times, and we miss out on the documentation part. So documentation and evidence collection is something that there are approximately 9 to 10 annexures, sir. So I'm quoting the data here. It's bit voluminous, I would say. It's a bit voluminous, and there can be many things that you would certainly feel that it's a repetition, but there can be 2 annexures. There can be feedback, candidate feedback, training in charge feedback, trainer feedback, trainer availability needs to be there, a spoke in charge should also be there. So we sometimes go ahead in a very detailed documentation, and we request for your support on that, so that we should not miss on those points. There are some additional documentation process which has been recommended by ministry in current times to go ahead with more transparency in the system, strengthening 1-minute video for each of the candidate. Okay, where they can just tell about their verification, and they can tell about the quality of the training. So this is one of the kind of feedback, which is a 1-minute video, which we are now going to start in a full-fledged way from the upcoming sessions. And of course, any issue, see, this is very unfortunate at my end also, sir, that there are many cases which are being noticed to me today only, and except for the KVK Kasargod was definitely writing to us, and me and Shyam was deliberating for the solution. But other than that, I definitely feel that please, I'm just a call away, sir. I always tell in all my training programs, and most of the times if it's waiting, I would request that please do drop me a message. I will definitely come back to you. So do let me know at that point ki ma'am abhi assessments chal rahi hain and these are the issues which are happening which we are not able to handle. Kindly can you please do something about it? I'll definitely get into that, sir. So it's a voluminous task that we are doing on a daily basis, and it's ought to be skipped sometimes. Talking about the few FAQs that we receive on a daily basis from various KVKs and training partners. So we get many requests for conducting the assessments on paper pen till date, but we politely deny for this request, and we request that all the participants during their training programs, I know they are so good at their subject matter expertise point of view, but definitely they should be given more and more focus on the digital savviness or the digital literacy of these candidates. So definitely how to handle the basic devices, that is something which we definitely request and can be oriented upon, so that assessments can be done in a very smooth manner. And of course, there are very few cases where candidates come for the assessment without the original Aadhaar card. So usually they come with Aadhaar card, but they take the Xerox copy or the carbon copy with them, and they try to be evaluated on that part. It's a strict no-no, sir. It's a strict no-no, except for the Northeast and Jammu and Kashmir, because this is something which ultimately goes up to the ministry level. This is something where they just surprisingly audit the batches. They ask for, this is Mr. Prashant Kumar, I need the respective documentation that you have collected before proceeding for the assessment. So this is something where we cannot initiate the assessment if the candidate is without Aadhaar. And of course, tools and equipments list is already there. This is the link which is already mentioned, on our website. I have already messaged my contact details, and this is for your reference. Please reach out to me anytime, and please convey any kind of issue so that I can have a timely and appropriate solution to all your problems. So thank you so much, and it's amazing to have all these eminent personalities in our session today. It's an honor. So thank you so much for sparing your valuable time for our session today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shrinkala.
We are up for questions, so I would
up for questions. So 1 or 2 questions on the assessment, please.
Yes, thank you.
Madam, I raised one question in the previous presentation regarding the language of the assessment. It has to be in the local language, but some cases, in some batches, they experience.
Yeah, Venkat sir, actually, I'll tell you, all the assessments right now are happening in the vernacular or the local language only. So there are, we are conducting the assessments in 13 different languages at present. And I really want to, I have already messaged Dr. Mahanthesh MT, who has raised this query, because I really want to know about this exception assessment where it has not been conducted in the vernacular language. And I'll connect with him, sir, after this program, and I'll just try to be aware on this part, because I'm not aware on this front, sir. Yeah, I'll connect with him, sir. I have already messaged him. I'll connect with him. Thank you.
Any questions from other KVKs? If there are any difficulties with respect to assessment, maybe delayed assessment or not done assessment in spite of program being completed? Issues from KVKs?
We would like to apprise one more thing here, sir, that post this second wave of pandemic, when everybody got disrupted, all the assessment program got disrupted in midway. So right now, as far as my understanding and with respect to the official notification, I think we have only got the states like Telangana and Pondicherry for their opening. I'm not sure of other states, sir. And there is a district-wise list which is being circulated from the respective district authorities. So I would request that when KVKs are coming up with the assessment request, if they can just give us a kind of confirmation on that part key it has been allowed by the district authority, so we can proceed it. Comes under Disaster Management Act 2015, and as per this notification, the Gazette notification, if any training and assessment is happening, defines certain laws and rules which has already been set by government. It is actually there can be many queries which can come after that. So that's why I request that people can approach us as and when things open and can provide a clarity to us. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if there are no issues,
If there are,
we can continue.
can we? We will continue with the next.
Yeah.
Raj, are you available now to come on floor?
Yes, sir, I am available. Okay.
Yeah. Can we just because one of the important session in the morning we need to have along with you, that is on the QP NOS and the training of trainers. You will take both together, and you will have about 15 minutes maximum, Raj.
Okay. I will cover that.
Floor is yours, Raj, now.
Just give me 1 minute. Good afternoon, everyone. Knowing about the training of trainers program. So just and also the collaboration opportunities for the SMEs, KVK, ICR institutes and SAUs with the ASCI in this perspective. So just to brief the TOT program, that all of we know that Government of India has ambitious target of skilling 400 million people by 2020. And for that, the quality trainers and assessors are required. For that, policy has been made by based on that policy, the framework for the TOT program has been developed. Also, there are some schemes which mandates that TOT, the scheme is to be run by the SSC certified trainers. And this TOT program are based on the guidelines that has been developed by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So the base level training assumptions for the TOT program is that the individual who is participating in the TOT program knows about the subject matter. And the only thing that is required is the orientation and alignment towards the NSQF, that is National Skill Qualification Framework. Both this TOT program is two-layered process. Layer 1 is the domain certification and layer 2 is the platform skills. And certification of the master trainers are at NSQF level 5. in the whole TOT program, ASCI's role is in ensuring the sufficiency of the trainers for the scheme rollout, also enhancing the quality of the trainers and optimizing the efficiency of the trainers related to the operations of the Skill India portals. And in this, ASCI handholds the If we will talk about the models of TOT, basically in guidelines, two models long TOT is there for the basic certification. Existing trainers are those who have the eligibility criteria plus industry experience plus experience of imparting minimum 500 hours of training. For them, 1 day direct assessment is there. For ICR system, a hybrid model has been developed for the 3 days in which on day 1, orientation is about the skill ecosystem, operations of the various portals, NSQF alignment, QP NOS is dealt. On day 2, platform skill orientation is there, and on day 3, assessment and certification is there. Now, if we will talk about the SIP functionality in TOT, then it is mandatory that all the trainers who are willing to undergo the TOT must be registered in the Skill India portal to participate in the program and to get the secure certificate post completion of the program. Some of the important documents that is required to be uploaded are photographs of the participant. If Aadhaar is now Aadhaar is mandatory in all southern states, so PAN is not applicable. Education qualification certificate, experience certificate, CV, and Aadhaar number is required for authentication. Now I will just in brief tell you about the whole flow chart, that how it operates. That first the participant registered in the Skill India portal and then they fill the required information. After filling the information, they are required to add training request, apply to the TOT batch and remit the TOT fee. And this addition of the training request and remittance of fee is to be informed to us at the email ID raj@asci-india.com. After that, SSC will enroll the participant in the batch and the participant will participate in the program, and post completion of the program, participant can download the certificate directly. Some of the FAQs related to this, that if there is any issue related to the portal, where to write or what to do. So when you face any problem, you just mention your TRID, your descriptions and relevant snapshot or screenshots and send it to skillindia.helpdesk@nsdcindia.org. Also, if any one trainer is opting for multiple job roles, then only one TRID is required and not multiple ID will be required. Third, that trainers can get their certificate only through the Skill India portal. No manual certificate is given. This is regarding the glimpse of the new guideline that has been developed by ministry. In the new guideline, there are 2 levels of certification: basic certification that we have discussed, that certificate validity of 2 years, and in advanced certification, longer duration certification is there with the refresher course. And in advanced certification, 6 modules is to be covered. Then comes the basic certification assessment process is 2 layered. One is the domain and other is the platform. And in assessment, it is mandatory that trainers should score minimum 80% in both domain and platform to get the certificate validity for 2 years. This is some of the 6 modules that is required in advanced certification, like when training delivery plan for the theory, practical session is required, then planning the assessment, conducting the assessment, how the practical is conducted. So 3 videos and 3 documents are required, and one-to-one handholding of the master trainer and trainer is done here. The new concept has been developed in the new guidelines, that is the Trainer Assessor Academy, and this is one of the important aspects in which KVKs, ICR institutes and SAUs can collaborate with us in making the Trainer and Assessors Academy, because these institutions have a good infrastructure, good resource persons, and they can collaborate with us in making the trainer and assessors academies in the southern zone. This is not an exhaustive list of the some of the roles and responsibility for the SSCs and trainer assessor academies, like selection of the trainers who will participate in the program is done by SSCs. Then program is exactly executed at the trainer and assessors academy. For execution of the program, financials is done mutually, and mutually here I mean that fee is taken from the participants, and for execution of the program, SLA is done between the TOT academies and SSCs, and the program is executed. This is like the willing institutions for the TOT or TOA academies can write to us for the willingness, specifying the job roles for which they want to establish trainer and assessors academies. Also, the SMEs of the KVKs, ICR institutes or SEUs who are willing to become the master trainer can write to us for the master trainer certification. And master trainers get honorarium for conducting the programs also. So this is all about in brief about the TOT program. So if any question is there, then most welcome.
Raj, can we also take up the NOS?
Yes, yes. Just
then go with the questions together.
This is in brief about the qualification pack, National Occupational Standard and NSQF. So all the skill training is imparted based on the NSQF, are basically the NSQF compliant. Okay, and for that qualification package developed. So just to brief that National Occupational Standards, it specifies the standard of performance, knowledge, and understanding that is required when carrying out any task or activity that is assigned to the individuals. And these norms are laid down by the industry through the respective SSCs. And a set of norms aligned to a job role makes the qualification pack. Each qualification pack is aligned to the NSQF level. There are 10 NSQF level, and for each NSQF level, there are 5 level descriptors. Also, in the NOSes, that is the National Occupational Standard, performance criteria, knowledge, and generic and professional skills are there. Performance criteria is related to the technical and performative skills. Knowledge and understandings deals with the conceptual, logical, or mathematical or linguistic skills, and generic skills covers metacognitive behavior or inter and intrapersonal skills. This is an example. For example, a gardener job role is there. For that, the applicable NOSes are nursery management and propagation of plant material, designing of garden components, and like such. Each qualification pack and National Occupational Standards are given respective codes. This is basically the structure of qualification pack, that it specifies the sector, subsector, occupation, qualification pack, name, training duration, and National Occupational Standard, what are the involved in it. This is the QP NOS life cycle across the institutions, and in this regarding this, I would like to thank all the institutions who have cooperated us in getting the validations for getting the approval from the concerned regulatory bodies. And I will also request, and I expect the sustained cooperation from the institutions in getting the validations for the upcoming courses or qualifications pack, or because these qualifications pack keep on revising and more validations are required for the same. So in this QP NOS life cycle, we will discuss in brief that first SSCs conducts the labor market analysis, and accordingly they check the what or some modification is there, and then post validations from the academic and research institutions, industry, and other stakeholders. It is submitted to the QRC, which is at NSDC level, which is the executive body. After that, it goes to the regulatory body, that is the NCVT. And then this NOS are registered in the NQR, and it is there for the utilization in the public domain. This is the broad component of the qualification pack, that each NOS has technical and generic NOS, then performance criteria, knowledge, understanding, and skills are there. I have told you that the nomenclatures of each qualification pack and national occupational after Q or N, the next 2 digit indicates the occupation number, and last 2 digit of qualification pack indicates the QP number. If it is NOS, then NOS number. This is the acronyms that is used while writing the occupation number, and this is based on the occupational map that is developed by the each SSCs. This is example for the QP and National Occupational Standard Code. For example, quality seed grower, it is at NSQF level 4, and its code is AGR/Q 7101, and the applicable NOSes codes are given here. This is benefit of the National Occupational Standards, that all competency-based curriculum package are based basically on the National Occupational Standards. Also, these NOSes are not beneficial only for the employees and employers, but all those who are utilizing this qualification pack. For example, we'll take for the employees that it acts as a means for recognizing the abilities. It acts as a means for determining the gaps of the knowledge and experience. And for employer, it will act as analyzing the training needs, opportunity to improve the overall company performance. So these are a few of the benefits of the NOSes. Now coming to the NSQF, that NSQF was notified on 27 December 2013, and all other frameworks, including NBQF, which was released by the then Ministry of HRD, stand superseded by the NSQF. This NSQF is the nationally integrated competency-based framework, and it organizes all qualification into series of level of knowledge, skills, and aptitude in 10 levels. And for each level, there are 5 level descriptors. As we move the level from level 1 to level 10, complexity of the level increases, responsibility, process involved, everything increases. NSQF is anchored in the NCVT and is operationalized through the NSQC. Also, NSQF provides multiple horizontal and vertical mobility. This is the key elements of the NSQF, that it talks about the outcome-based approach. It talks about vertical and horizontal mobility. There are multiple entry and exit pathway. It has international equivalency, and also under NSQF, anybody who have learned any skills by formal, informal, or non-formal means can get recognized under recognition of prior learning. There are 5 level descriptors, that is the process, professional knowledge, professional skill, core skill, and responsibility. And for each level, it is described, and based on this only, each qualification pack is aligned. These are the few usage of level descriptors. For example, to allocate the levels to the learning programs and qualification, in validations and moderations of the qualifications program. It acts as a basis for the communication with the learners and other users of the qualifications pack. So these level descriptors have multiple uses in the alignments of the course curriculum. Some of the benefits of the key stakeholders for the trainees, employees, training partners, and governments are that once the course is opted, which is NSQF aligned, then ultimately the return on training investment increases to multiple folds, formalization of the training is there, which is win-win situation for all. Also for the training partner, it is essential for to get access of the government funding. It is mandatory that the course that they are opting must be NSQF compliant. This is about the vertical mobility. Now the NSQF aligned courses are also run in the school programs and also in the community colleges. So if anybody is opting NSQF aligned courses in the school and is not able to pursue higher courses, then they can opt for the courses in the community colleges and they can attain the NSQF aligned further courses. In NSQF, I have told you that there is clear-cut pathways. So for this is the example for aquaculture segments. This is for the dairy management. This is for the seed industry, and in a similar fashion, for all the sectors or all the subsectors under agriculture, the occupational map is there. So this is a brief about the COT and NSQF. So if any question is there, then most welcome.
Thank you so much, Raj. This is one of the best presentation as we moved on to the various presentations during the program. And I would open up for 5 minutes for discussion on the topics related to NOS and NSQF and the TOT.
Yeah, KVK colleagues, if they have any issues related to QPs and the qualification packs, the contents, any difficulties we are facing with respect to any raise issues.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
There was a general comment from our trainers that even trainees that some of the programs can be conducted with lesser duration instead of 20 days, 25 days or 30 days. Is it possible to reduce the training duration and modify the course curriculum accordingly?
Sir, basically, if you will see that for skill programs, minimum duration that is for the 200 hours. Of course, there are some of the courses with lesser duration that we are in the pipeline for the development. I will request you that please drop us the mail regarding your suggestion for the job roles and the shortened duration that you are asking for. So we will look into it, and if possible, of course, we will incorporate your suggestion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good. Any comments from any other KVKs?
Okay. Yeah, if there are no comments or questions, now we will move on to the next presentation. May I now invite Colonel Gupta? Gupta, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Colonel Gupta. I am looking after the operations in the Agriculture Council. Till now, my colleagues have been speaking about the various activities that we undertake in the council, as also how we roll out those activities. I will now be speaking something very different. There is other than the activities that the Agriculture Council is doing. Basically, like Dr. Arya had also said, and you would be aware, that the biggest skill program that the government of India has launched is known as the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, or the PMKVY. Now, this particular scheme has got 3 models under which a training partner or a training provider can deliver trainings and provide certifications to those individuals who are interested to get a skill certificate. Most of the central ministries, the state governments have also adopted the modules or the models that are available in the PMKY and merged them into their schemes. Now, what are these models? There are three basic models. The first one is known as the short-term training. Short-term training is basically done on the skill qualifications that have been approved by the government and have been placed in the National Qualification Register. All these qualifications which have been developed, whether it is by ASCI or by any other awarding body, are all aligned to the National Skill Qualification Framework, which was just explained to you by my colleague Rajkumar. So once the qualifications are developed as per the framework and they're approved by the government, they are placed in the National Register, and on these qualifications, when the training is done, they are known as the short-term training, because most of these qualifications, the minimum training duration is 200 hours. And if you were to convert them into number of days, they would range from 30 to 35 days. That's the minimum amount of duration required to acquire these qualifications. There are other qualifications as the level goes up. They could be more than 200 hours, could be 250, 300, 400, even 6 months qualifications are available over there. That is the first model or the module through which training can be delivered and certification can be provided to a candidate. Normally, the short-term training is applicable to a fresh entrant who does not have the skills and wishes to acquire the skills right from the beginning. The second module where an individual can obtain training is known as the RPL, or the recognition of prior learning. The government recognizes that there are many individuals who already have the skills which are available in the National Qualification Register, or the skills are aligned to the NSQF, which they may have obtained through informal means, maybe through peers, maybe through their generations, or maybe through observations. And such individuals need not undergo a full training course, that is the short-term training. And these individuals may be just directly certified. So that is the second module. And the third module is the special projects. That is, under the scheme, there are various individuals who cannot follow either the RPL or the short-term training. So there is a special scheme known as special projects. So a training provider has to give a project to the government that this is the way I want to do under the existing scheme. And if the government approves, they can do that. I will now share my screen and in detail speak about what is the RPL, because short-term training is known to everybody, and that is what the RKY scheme has adopted, the short-term training module. Now there is also the element of the RPL. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible?
Sir, it's coming, sir, still.
Okay. Can you now see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Visible. Oh, okay. So now I'll take you through the recognition of prior learning. What is this recognition of prior learning? How is it rolled out? These are basically the salient features of the RPL. The RPL is basically targeted for a specific type of candidates, and there are certain objectives to the RPL. The first objective, this RPL is very much applicable to those, the unorganized sector, that is the agriculture, as we know, is a totally unorganized sector. So this is for that workforce who can get these certifications. Once you get the certification, there's also the aim is that you get better opportunities for career or employment to the individuals. That is where the RPL is used. And it is to reduce the inequalities between those people who have got academic qualifications or certain qualifications and those who do not have the qualifications, and to give them at equal par. This is also applicable for example, women empowerment. We know that a large number of women doing the same job as men are paid less. So if the women are also having the same qualification as their counterparts, so the equality is automatically maintained. Now, what are the benefits of the RPL? First is to encourage the workers to participate in learning programs, which they may not have the opportunity to get into a learning system or organized learning system. So they have an opportunity to get a certification, which is equally valuable as per the other people who've got it. It is also an opportunity to upgrade your skills. It is also provides the unregulated workforce as a uniform skill certificate, because these are all national level certificates. So whether the individual is from the north part of India or the south or the east and west, every individual will get a similar certificate for a similar job. Now, once these certificates are obtained by that individual, he has an opportunity to avail financial benefits that are available through various other financial institutions for skilled people. Earlier, my colleagues have also spoken about lateral and vertical movement. So once an individual has acquired a skill certificate through RPL, they have an opportunity to acquire higher certificates, both laterally and vertically. And we also know that today agriculture is not an aspirational role or an aspirational vocation. Many of the existing agriculturists, their wards or their children don't want to follow what their parents have done because there's no motivation. But once you get a skill certificate on a particular agriculture role, so it becomes a motivational aspect. The next is all those certificates are, like I said, as per the national approved skill sets. So it is available to them. Also, a skilled person and a non-skilled person, if you were to see the output of the work, normally a skilled person would be a better performer than a non-skilled person. So it improves productivity at the workplace, which is beneficial to the employer. It also helps retrenched workers, including migrant labor, to re-enter the labor market. Maybe that when they were when they were working as a wage earner, they may not be having a skill certificate and they're out of the job. Once they acquire the skill certificate, they have better possibilities to get back into the labor market. The second thing is that since these certificates are pan-India recognized, so that mobility is more. Also now, these qualifications that are being prepared or being developed, we are also aligning them with a lot of international similar certificates. We are already in talks with Canada, with Australia, and with several Gulf countries, including Africa. In Africa, in fact, and the Gulf countries, they don't have any certification program. So they recognize our Indian certificates to give jobs to the labor over there. So it improves their mobility within the country and even outside the country. And the confidence level, this is more mental, that a skilled labor has got more confidence to perform a work than an unskilled person. And like I said earlier, it empowers women. We know that in agriculture, the behind the scenes, if we talk about, there are about 60% of the jobs are done or the work is done by the women, which are never recognized or valued. So now if these women get the skill certificates, at least they are recognized, they come forward. There are now 5 steps to conduct an RPL. First is the mobilization. This is done by the project implementing agency or by the training provider or whoever is going to launch this RPL. So they have to do the mobilization. They have to do the counseling and the pre-screening, that whether this individual, the skills available with this individual, are they equivalent to the existing qualifications? So that is the pre-screening part comes over there. Now, once they have identified the individuals, they have to do a certain amount of orientation or the training. Now, for an RPL, the government mandates that a minimum of 2 days orientation has to be provided to the individuals. The orientation could be more than 2 days. Where it is more than 2 days, it is known as bridge course. That means the individual does have the skills, but the skills are not 100% equal to the available qualifications. Maybe he's got 60%, 70%, 80% of the skills. So there is a requirement of an additional orientation beyond the 2 days. So that is known as bridge course. So this also has to be conducted by the project implementing agency or the training provider who's doing this RPL. The final assessment, of course, is done by ASCII for our job roles. And all those individuals who participate in a government scheme, the government gives them a reward for participating in the RPL program. And this is an auto-generated through the Skill India portal post approval of results. Both the certification and the payout is given directly to the individual on their bank, and the certification for that individual is given in the soft copy format to the training provider, who has to print and provide it to the individual. Now the government has made 5 types of RPL. The type 1 of the RPL is where there's a cluster or there's a number of people or individuals who've been identified for certification. So the PIA or the training provider provides the RPL certification program at their location where they are available. So this is known as RPL camp, RPL in the camp mode. So a temporary training center is established over there for 2 or 3 days where these individuals are oriented and where their assessment takes place and they get the certification. The second type is on the employer's premises. There are many employers who would feel that, okay, I am an employer and I would like to get my people certified. So there, this RPL is conducted in the employer's premises because he's got a captive audience, or the captive candidates are available with him. He's got the infrastructure, he's got the equipment, he's got everything. So in the employer's premises, this RPL is conducted. The third is RPL centers. Now, through this program or the skilling program, you take the KVKs. The KVKs are also training centers. So the RPL can be conducted in the training center because the center provides the infrastructure, provides the equipment, provides that individual or the trainer to give the orientation. So all the things are available at that center. So that center will be known as the RPL center. Here the individuals will have to come to the center for the RPL. Yani the center does not move. The trainers do not move. The equipment does not move. So that it is not a camp mode. Everything is available there. Individuals who want to get the certificate come over there, and here the RPL is conducted. The fourth type of RPL is primarily and only open to corporates or to the industry. Here the RPL is conducted in a different manner. The conduct of the assessment of the individuals is done by the industry themselves, because they only do the RPL for the people who are on rolls with them or individuals who are on contract with them. They cannot include anybody outside. So it is only their own people for whom the RPL is done by them themselves. Here we only facilitate as a council, we only facilitate them for the RPL. And the last is the RPL type 5, where there's only one man, and that one person says, I want to be certified. So that individual can apply in the national portal that I want to be certified as an individual. And then he or she is allotted a particular center where they can report and where they can have their RPL done. These centers are known as the PMKK centers or the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra. These centers are state-of-art centers that have been created by the funds provided under the PMKY scheme. So the funds are provided to an individual entity or an organization to create this state-of-art center, and in those centers the RPL can be conducted for an individual also. Now these are certain queries or questions that come up for the conduct of the RPL, that who can be the PIA. So the PIA can be any individual training partner, any legally registered entity, could be the employer, could be industry or corporate, could be the state government, example, the state skill missions, a center or state government department, any one of them could undertake the RPL. The next question is, can the mobilizer and the facilitator can be different? Yes, they can be different. Now, for mobilization, these people who are the PIA, any of the PIA, if they do not have the wherewithal to mobilize people, they can engage another entity to do the mobilization for them. But what they will have to do is that the money they get from the government to conduct the RPL, they may have to share a part of that to this agency who's going to mobilize the individuals for them. The facilitator also, to do the training, the facilitator can be also somebody different. They can engage somebody to provide that orientation training, and they will have to share the revenue with them. Then again, the question is, why are there 4 or 5 different types of RPL? It all depends on the type of the target group. Which are the type of target group? Whether the affiliation for RPL is required or not required. Like, for example, RPL centers, the type 3 RPL, these centers have already been affiliated on the Skill India portal. They are registered training centers. So now if that center wants to do an RPL, so it is a different model that has to be used. And the third, like I said, was the best in class, where it is only open to corporates. The next question is, who is responsible for the laying down the pre-screening criteria? It is the SSCs. They lay down the pre-screening criteria that please only include those individuals for RPL who can pass the pre-screening criteria laid down by the SSC. Now, what is the duration of the pre-screening? People ask us. It is normally of 15 to 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Within that time, that trainer who's can identify whether this individual has the skills for which he can go for direct certification. The next question is, this facilitator organization or this facilitator himself, whether they have to be TOT qualified? Yes, they have to be a certified trainer to undertake the orientation or the bridge course. Now, what is the minimum period of orientation training? Like I said, 2 days or 12 hours, followed by the assessment. In case additional hours are required, or the trainer feels, or the facilitator feels that I should give him more than 12 hours, you're most welcome. You can do it for 3 days or 4 days and then make them undergo the assessment. However, if for the additional period money is required or a fee is required, then it has to be approved by the organization or by the scheme. The people who are running the scheme, they have to approve the bridge course training, for which they will get additional funds. One more question is asked, that in the short-term training, if an individual fails, he can appear for a reassessment, but this provision is not available for the RPL. Next is, should an individual have an Aadhaar card? Yes, for all central and state government where public funds are used, an RPL card or Aadhaar card is mandatory. There are certain exceptions for the Northeast and the J&K, for which different sort of a card or a identity proof is acceptable. The last question is that when you want to put up a RPL project, what are the parameters or what are the things that should be kept in mind? So these are about 4 or 5 are the mandatory parameters. The organization that wants to conduct the RPL should have at least a minimum 1 year experience in the sector, that is the agriculture sector, and in the proposed job roles. Now, if you have the capability and the capacity to fishery job roles, you cannot apply for a crop production job role. I'll do RPL in a crop production because you don't have a exposure in that particular job role. Second thing, a ground survey report has to be submitted in which you have done a survey where individuals have been identified. So a ground survey is required to for that particular job role and that particular location. You should when you're putting up the project, the entity should be able to articulate or justify direct certification. What are the benefits that will accrue after the individual is certified direct certified. Last thing is that the average turnover of the applicant organization should be at least 25% of the cost of the entire project. I have finished my presentation over here. If anybody has got any questions on the RPL, open to give the answers.
Dear participants, please give your valuable feedback and interact with the ASCII experts to clear your doubts. Now, our Honorable Minister is very much particular about strengthening the skill development component in the KVKs. So you have to utilize this opportunity. This is my request. No queries?
If can we, sir? If there are no queries, as requested by Dr. Venkat Subramanian, sir, then we will move on to the next presenter. I now request Dr. Vandana to take the floor, please.
Thank you, Ishwarji. I would be just sharing my presentation.
Yeah, I've already made you a.
It's a very
Well, I
important
thank.
presentation. It's a very important presentation.
And we'll just move on to the contents presentation, sir, now.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, madam, visible. Dr. Vandana, visible.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Vandana, and I'm looking after the content development vertical of agriculture sector skill concept. I would be just giving an overview what exactly I'm about to cover in my presentation. I would be covering about what exactly is the content about it, who would be the stakeholder for that, and why there is the requirement of the content when there is a lot of content on the agriculture and allied sector available over the internet and with the various institutions as well. Then I would also be touching upon how is it developed and where is the scope and opportunity with the ICR and the KVKs to associate with us for the content vertical. So as I was discussing that what is it and who is the stakeholder. So this is a skilling content specially made and it is the instructional material for the learning resources which is used by the different stakeholders, which is based upon the competency-based qualification packs and it deals with the agriculture and allied sector. The stakeholders for this content are the trainees who need some content on which aspects of the qualification pack what to be learned. And then their other stakeholders are the trainers who actually need what exactly to be taught to the trainers, as well as what is the flow, what is the process flow, what are the resources, what are the tools which are required to be taught to such adult learners. And then the third stakeholder is the assessors in the ecosystems. At the end of the program, they have to do the summative assessment of the trainees for whether what they have learned on what particular content they have learned on the various job roles. So to have any kind of the unbiased assessment, the assessors also need the content. Then why the content is necessary? We are keeping in view that there are the major requirement for the content because the skilling content which we develop is specifically for the short-term trainings, which is minimum for 200 hours and more than that. So the content is developed specifically keeping in view both PMKVY and non-PMKVY scheme to keep in view that there should be unbiased assessment all over the systems to avoid any kind of conflicts that this particular content has not been taught in the system. So to keep a standard system, the content is necessary. And then I would touch upon that why we should prefer the ASCII content. There are reasons behind that, although there are quality materials, quality content, which has been developed by the various institutes for various job roles. But the ASCII content is very, very job role specific. We have 186 qualification packs with us, and the content is based on the model curriculum, which is duly approved by the NCVT. And on those basis of the model curriculum, which also includes the training duration, that content is developed. And the content is also learning outcome based. All the content is competency based, that what exactly the learner would have learned about that particular module, what he would have studied. So that particular content will very, very specifically on the competency outcome based. Then, because this is a skilling ecosystem, so in the skilling ecosystem, we have the stakeholders, we have the trainees who have different qualifications, which deals with from the semi-literate to a highly literate person, or maybe from the different backgrounds also. It is not necessary like he must be a farmer only, or he may have maybe a person who wants to learn for the strawberry cultivation. He might not be a farmer, but he may have he would be having some software background. So the thing is that it should be easily learnable. So it should have a proper visuals, so that even a semi-literate person or who does not even know about the A of that particular content, he should be able to understand it very, very clear. Since agriculture is a vast subject and it varies from the regions to regions, so every region have their different package of practices for each job role, how they follow the various standards for the applicability. So what ASCII tries to do is it collates the content from the various authenticated resources, and we also have the experts with us who actually prepare the content and then review it and then finalize it. So that we try to make that content a collation of all the content, so that it could be used appropriately across the zones. And besides the technical part, it also covers the soft skills, behavioral skills, and it also takes care that what should be the employment and entrepreneurship skills should also be there in a particular trainee who is actually not only learning the technical skills, but if he is going to be an employee or some self-entrepreneurship, then how or what basics is required to go ahead, because in this skill ecosystem and entrepreneurship basics are very much required. Then all this content is also developed in the modular design. So we have specifically made NSDC formats in which each component is very much clearly with specific icons it has been developed, and which clearly imparts that what to do, what not to do. It also tells about there are many tips which are our content gives to the trainees to formulate and to utilize it. And then because at the end of each training, there are the requirement of the assessments. Without assessments, that particular trainee cannot be certified. So in our content, we try to give some kind of the formative assessment exercises, which are both subjective, practical based, as well as the objectives also, with both short and open-ended questions, so that he can himself judge his knowledge and the skill on that particular module, whether he has learned the skills for that particular module or not. Then our ASCII content also comprises of an instruction manual, which we say that this is the trainer guide or the facilitator guides, which tells about the various methodologies, tools, and the time durations, how to teach as per the andragogy system, because this is an adult learning. So we cannot go with the traditional methods of teaching as we teach in the schools. We need to have different types of the role plays. We need to include different types of the field visits, various activities to teach the particular context. So that instructional manual is the process flow of the complete content which we are teaching in the content part. Then Agriculture Skill Council content has also developed various modules based upon the model curriculum. And then how those model curriculums, how those modules would be taught, it is further, we also have a plans which are known as the training delivery plans. So these training delivery plans facilitate the trainers that how a particular module would be taught in a particular time duration, the different session objectives, what could be the methodologies used in the system. So this is just an aid to the trainers, and in which more additions and value additions could be done by the trainer at the end. So after that, this is just a glimpse of the skilling content I would like to share with all of you. Here at this part, if you say, this is the part which is actually a participant handbook which is being developed by the Agriculture Sector Skill Council, which tells about the key learning outcomes in the model curriculum. But about after the having this units, the learning would be there, and this actually tells about the content, but he should learn about all these things. And then if you see in the another part, this is the facilitator guide or the trainer guide. If you can see, both the content and the units, they are same, objectives are same for both the participant handbook for the trainee as well as the trainer guide. The only difference is here we have the content, like what we need to be taught to the students, to the trainees. But in the facilitator guide, if you say, it is telling if we have to teach this particular aspect, what resources we are required, so what questions we should do, what actually activities we should acquire for that, and what basic questions we should ask them. So this is actually a process flow which are being dealt in the facilitator guides. This is just an example. Now we have there are different stages in the content development, which I am going to share. First of all, ask you to do a critical SME identification from the various experts, institutions, industries. And then we have some memorandum of understanding and NOC for the copyright transfer and the various content compliance as per the standards. And then we give the orientation session to the identified and the agreed subject matter experts, that how to go for the content development. Then, because the content is developed based upon the model curriculum, then a complete analysis of the all NOS and the model curriculum is done. Then there is then a manuscript is developed on that particular basis upon that model curriculum in a prescribed format. That format is very important because that is an NSTC prescribed format, and we have to completely adhere to that format. And then there are different infographic representation of the text is also mandatory in the scaling content for the better understanding and the learning. After that content is developed, a complete technical vetting and proofreading of the content is done. Then it goes through the processes of the plagiarism, because to avoid any kind of the copyright infringements. So a plagiarism check is gone through by the Agriculture Skill Council of India as well as the subject matter experts itself. And after all the plagiarism checks with the minimal acceptable limit, then the content is designed. After the designing of the content, again, the design content is passed through a critical review. And then all the content is submitted to the NSTC for the quality adherence and the approvals. And we do that. And after that, after all approvals, we go for the printing and publishing. This is the complete process we adhere for the development of the content, initially in the English language, and post that there is a mandatory that we have to convert it into the Hindi language also. So for Hindi language also, the same process for the translation, review, vetting, and then after that redesigning is considered, and then books ultimately goes into the printing and publishing. So this is a complete process where we follow it. Now here, this is the very important thing I would like to discuss, because we have a lot of scope and opportunities for collaboration with the institutes and the subject matter experts. All the subject matter experts and the KVKs, they can join us with associate with us as a content developer. for developing both participant handbooks and the trainer's guides. They can also help us in reviewing the content. They can help us in preparing of the training delivery plans, preparation of the model curriculum based upon the qualification packs. Then, because the translation in the agriculture sector, it is a huge challenge, especially in the regional languages. So complete vetting is required for the content as well as for the technical translation, so as to there is no change in the context which is required in that. So in that, there could be a complete facilitation from the subject matter experts in translation, not only into the translation, but as well as the review and the technical vetting of the content and the correcting it also. So for the assessments also, we also develop the qualification banks also. For that review also, the SMEs can be associated with us. And most importantly, they could be the knowledge partners with us there, because since ASCII is a skilling platform where all across the nation, from the different resources, from the different regions, participants, trainers, and other various different stakeholders, as well as the industries also, they come and join us. They look for the skilling part. So this could be the platform where the ICR as well as the SMEs or the KVKs, they can share their all the e-learning resources, where we can provide the cross links for them. Like it could contain the various training manuals, which may be mapping with our job roles, with our qualification packs, and maybe the content would be in the form of the PDFs, maybe e-booklet forms, and maybe some videos and audios, which like suppose if there is a job role of the shrimp farmer, or maybe if there is a job role of ornamental fish technician, or any other job roles, or maybe a friend on coconut tree. Like if there are the videos which are released by the institutions, or maybe some courses have been undergone and they have some videos. So those videos links could also be associated here for the benefit of the trainee, for the benefit of the skillers to take it forward. Similarly, there are different presentations and some successful case studies also. Since KVKs are associated with us since long with the various RKVY programs and the various trainings also, so they must be having some successful case studies also, or they must be having some kind of presentations, or they. I would also request that if they could also, while providing the trainings, if they have the quality videos with them, they could share with us, so that those videos of the trainings, like how could be used here as a link, which could be shared across the system, across the nation for the benefit. So how the institutes can associate with us as the knowledge partners. And yes, then because all the content, whether it is a content, whether it is a qualification pack, we all need the validations and endorsements for the skilling content, which always add value for that particular content. So that is how we can have the collaborations from the institutes, from the KVKs, from the SMEs. So that is all from my end, from the content vertical. Thank you so much, and I look forward for your facilitation for the content development vertical under the various categories. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Vandana ji, for the best presentations on contents, and I hope it was useful for the participants. Can we open for one or two questions on the contents part?
Yes, if you wish to know some clarification, it's very important, because monitored, we have to just, we cannot keep it aside. We have to develop contents for some of the specific job roles, to be in touch with this ASCII, and anything you have to be clarified, you please clarify from them.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am Dr. Jairaj from KVK Kannur. My humble suggestion is that the forward linkages to the skilled trainers in getting financial assistance or grant from any agencies, is there any priority? Because few of our trainees have already approached the employment exchange. So there are some schemes are there, whether they are taking that as entrepreneurship development, because actually we conducted gardeners and landscaping training, and few of them have already started their activities, but they are getting very difficult to get financial assistance from credit institutions or government agencies to avail grant. Is there any mechanisms for the forward linkages to these trainees who have been given certificates from ASCII?
Dr. Jairaj, thing is we can look for such kind of the linkages from the industries also, from the institutions also, specifically like for the, if you look for the gardener job roles also.
No,
For
actually,
the gardener job roles,
the situation is that if anybody enrolls their name in the employment exchange, there are provisions to get the financial assistance. Is there any priority for these people who have the special certificate from ASCII to do their own business? But as such, no guidance, no informations were received to those agencies. Still, they are going with the routine pattern. So whether that can be explored.
I think definitely it could be explored. Yes, please.
Hello. I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts in this front, Dr. Jairaj. We have been discussing with the various financial institutions also. One of the important source would be the NABARD, where there are some schemes skilled candidates can approach, and there are schemes which are available within the world where they can also get into some amount of financial assistance through their lead banks. This is one way where they want to start the self-employment using the skills of the ASCII certificate. This discussion is also happening along with the NABARD ROs from us, and soon a couple of these interventions will help the candidates who get the certificate in ASCII. This is what is first response from my side. And as the candidates get registered in the employment exchange, as you are mentioning, there are type of niche job roles in terms of retail or any other such kinds are continuously for lookout in terms of various industries. So we will try to connect those also with them so that it will be easier for them to get some amount of employment as time goes. This is what is immediate response. We will also get in touch with you on this aspect to provide some links where such kind of opportunities are available. Apart from this, we also have a portal called Placements where they can register, and there are industries who will be looking for such skilled people for the ASCII certificate. There's a placement portal put up by us.
So again, as far as KVKs are concerned, the organizing training for us is very easy. Then again, with our limited resources, the process of registering and entering the information about the participant, this takes a lot of time. Then with our limited manpower resources, it's a bit of difficult for us because we are not only taking up the ASCII programs, we have many other programs taken up on daily and annual basis. So could you please consider that this process of entering and everything is taken at ASCII level, so that we can focus on the training program. Another thing is, it's a good orientation that we have received, but what next is very important. The feedback, based on our feedback, it needs to be strengthened. And strengthened in the sense, we need to have a nodal officer at the ASCII level, wherein we can contact a person so that he address all our requirements as far as KVKs are concerned. Then kindly, otherwise, if you are not able to upload or support us with this uploading the data, then kindly give us a provision so that we have a manpower so that we can conduct a number of training programs. So kindly look into this matter also.
Dr. Robert, this is Karan Gupta. I just want to add on to what my colleagues have just said. As far as the individuals who are certified on our qualifications, like Mr. Dr. Ishwar has just said, we have our own ASCII placement portal. Individual has to just register on that, and even if he finds a difficulty in registering on our portal, we have a specific individual who will guide him, handhold him to register on our portal. As of date today, we have something like 6,000 individuals who registered who are looking for jobs, and we've got something like 200 industries who have also posted their requirements. So we will help this individual if he's looking for a wage employment. But one thing that we have observed, most of the candidates want a job in and around their place of residence. Now that at times becomes a challenge. You see, because the job will not come to his house, he will have to go where the job is available. But we are always open to these suggestions, and we will do that. We are also holding Rozgar Melas, where we invite industry to come and participate and to pick up the individuals from the location itself. And once the individual is registered with us, we know that he's interested. We will include him in the Rozgar Melas also.
Sir, I am not, I'm sorry, I was not talking about the employment opportunity. I was talking about regarding the detail being uploaded for the participants while conducting training and during those times.
Doctor, are you?
Sir, actually, we have responded to Jairaj, Dr. Jairaj earlier, who were asking about the employment opportunities post-training. That is one part. And Dr. Rapold was asking regarding the type of support that is available with the ASCII. So that we will be able to look into, sir, and we will be able to provide the required support what you have been asking. So there is we will also connect with you, the appropriate person within ASCII who will be dealing with the KVK matters also. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. If you can take up this, definitely we will be able to take up more training program with us.
Dr. Robert, we already have a SPOC. Mr. Shyam is the one who deals with all the KVKs, and he is the one single point of contact. Any problem which may be, whether it's assessment, maybe affiliation or whatever it may be, only Mr. Shyam can be approached, and he will ensure that the job is taken forward or the query is taken forward.
Okay. Okay, sir. Can we now move on to the next round of discussion during the sessions here? May I now request Dr. Chandragowda to come on floor to have a small discussion with the Director of Extensions of various universities. May I now request Dr. Chandragowda? Dr. Chandragowda, please.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Ishwar, yeah, thank you. Before I invite respected directors of extension to give their views, I just wanted to add one point. The placement portal is one thing, but the entire database of trained skilled people is with ASCII or even with ministry. Why can't this list can be shared with the potential employees, including banking institutions, to consider these trained people on priority wherever possible? I know that because everybody cannot be hired. But I think this list of trained people shared.
It's not audible, sir.
That is one thing. Now, I invite our director of extension. We had all directors from the beginning. Yeah, I know that my audio is very weak, but now I request directors of extension of UAS, Karnataka Agricultural Universities, From Harvard, anybody is there? Dr. Ramesh Babu, sir, here? Or Dr.
Sir,
Kulkarni?
Ramesh Babu is not here, sir. Myself, Raju, I am talking.
Sir, I am Sripad.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Sripad, you have any comments from your side, particularly related to this organization and assessment of development?
That's what, sir. Actually, many of our queries they have addressed actually. Even I was interested to ask about the information on the after training possibilities of getting some jobs or bank loans. Most of the trainees they ask on these aspects. Sir, once we get the trained on these skill trainings, what is the next, sir? Whether we get some any assistance from the banks or loan from the bank, or anywhere we will get some jobs like that. They ask. This is one aspect I wanted to get it clarified, and it was mostly answered by the many of the delegates here. And the second thing is the many times a lot of emphasis is given on training for the agriculture aspect, sir. Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Yes,
sir, you are audible, sir.
So actually, the skill development is required towards the utilization of the forest products. That is one of the aspects which has to be given a lot of impetus. Maybe the usage of ratins, usage of the forest products, maybe the wild fruits, such kind of the skill trainings have to be enhanced more, sir, so that the whoever is there in the agriculture sector who has already come towards the high-tech agriculture and all, he is not facing much problem. The problem skill problem is faced by the most remotest villages farmers. That's why these aspects have to be given more importance. And the next skill requirement is there in small scale processing. Small scale processing is the another area where we have to train the farmers, sir. We are all conducting the still training on organic farming, the goat and sheep training, some green type of trainings we are conducting, but it has to be translated into the processing type of trainings. Maybe the banana powder making, tur dal processing, oil extractions from the some of these things. So such kind of more trainings we need to train, sir. And the another thing is there is a requirement for post-harvest supply chain management trainings. Post-harvest supply chain management trainings are required for the rural farmers, sir. Because you might have seen the very recently in Srinivaspur, they have thrown the mango on the road. Many the flower producing farmers, they are not getting any business. So such kind of things have to be translated through the processing. Maybe extraction from flowers, maybe the pulp production from the mangoes, like that. That in the another area where we need a lot of skill training is the fisheries, sir. Hello.
Sripad, yeah.
That area can be also be taken up. More trainings can be taken up in that area, sir. So the other one of the delegate was telling about the interlinking the industries, banks, and the trainees. That is also more important, sir. And once he finishes, there should be some mechanism. Once he finishes the training, he should be handed over with some equipments or maybe some kits so that he can start his earnings. That's what another the area where we have to give the importance. For example, for gardener, after training, he should get a kit so that he can start his earnings through that kit, maybe with signatures and other things. Likewise, we have to plan this skill trainings in somewhat in a different way, sir. This is what I was intended to share, sir. Apart from this, there are some hiccups with reference to the uploading, downloading, and the receiving of the funds and other things that many of the speakers they have already clarified, and our KVK scientists they are in a position to handle all such things. Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shripad. We will now request DE from UAH Shivamogga, Dr. Shashidhar. Are you still on board?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Chandragouda, sir, I am here. I think the skill program was organized excellently, except for some minor problems in the net issues, the audibility problems. With regarding to the program, what I wanted to suggest is all the KVKs has to identify their skill requirement of their district. So that is the requirement actually. So all the KVKs should bring out the skill requirement for their district. What are all the areas? Some of the areas, if we identify that that skill area is not listed under Skill Council of India and prepared that QPs or NSQs or MOS, so those things can be prepared out of their feedback system. I think our Ishwar Pujar is very good in organizing all these developing QPs and other things. Our own graduate sitting in the skill council is doing a wonderful job. So he has sent several QPs for auditing for our university also. We audited similar type of programs. We have to initiate from the KVK. That is bottom-up approach. All the skill requirement of the district they have to list, and wherever the QPs and other things are not there, standards are not there, that we can request our skill council to develop these QPs and other things. So that will give a good platform for this particular workshops. That's all I wanted to put it across. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shashidhar. Do we have Chandragiri sir on board? UAS Raichur. Otherwise, anybody from UAS Bangalore? We saw that connected in the beginning. Anyone from UAS Bangalore, Directorate of Extension? Whether Dr. Jiju sir is available? Dr. Jiju from KAU?
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Jiju, please. Yeah.
So I take a bit of, other than that, I had listened to.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
both the things I want. Yeah. Venkata Subramaniam.
Hello. May I speak?
Sir, Dr. Narayan Goda, please hold on.
Hello, good afternoon.
Dr. Jiju. Dr. Narayan Goda, please hold on, sir.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Sir, Dr. Narayan Goda, sir, kindly hold on for a moment. We have a Jiju online. Jiju sir online. After that, we will take up your thing, sir.
Okay. No, as such, I have another meeting at 2 o'clock with the Vice Chancellor. Please go ahead.
We will give you a slot of 2 minutes quickly, sir, after Jiju, sir.
I request my colleague to speak on this. I'll be moving to another meeting now with the Vice Chancellor. My representative will speak on, she will share an opinion now.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Dr. Jiju, sir.
Okay. So coming back, when one which I today also had a discussion on centers of excellence in agricultural mechanization. academy of skilling next thing to associates as well. One thing is that the skill sets and also the job roles that have been
You are not audible.
the job roles, particularly taking into consideration some of the priorities which are going to emerge in the coming years. One thing is regarding
Your voice is not audible.
we are in the established community.
Dr. Jiju sir, your voice is very feeble. If possible, you can join from another system. Jiju sir, your voice is very feeble.
I mean, current can improve can food production, particularly microbial based inputs, which are hugely going to be used by the farmers of Kerala due to a policy shift by the government to concentrate more on organic agriculture. So there is department also has come out with a massive program to start organic agriculture in almost all the districts of Kerala. So this bio input production can be one major area wherein skilling be required, particularly with respect to formulations of bio inputs, microbe-based fertilizers, and also other inputs.
Your voice is not audible.
Gowdaji, we can just take the opinion of Dr. Narayana Gowda. He wanted to move so that Dr. Jiju Alex can talk later on from some other system.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Venkata Subramaniam. Good afternoon to everybody. You know, it was from the morning, 10:30, 10 o'clock itself, the program started. The learned speakers, they delivered a lot of information, which was very useful to all our colleagues working at KVK. In fact, I'm the new incumbent here. Therefore, I could not track with the developments which is going on under ASCII. With all that, the learned speakers, they gave very good information. In fact, attending other things also, I was in a position to watch some of the slides and also hear to some of the very scholarly talk by most of the speakers today. And whatever the sessions given by all the speakers today, and also the policymakers at the Delhi level, we abide for all that directions given by the speakers, as well as the ASCII policies and also the objectives, and we'll try to fulfill through our KVKs. And we'll take it up in as a priority with this skill training programs, and we'll see that this will be implemented very effectively, reaching to the ultimate beneficiary of this the nook and corner of the villages. Thank you for giving me this small opportunity to share.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jiju. Are you still connected? If you are able to speak now, please continue, Dr. Jiju.
So,
you were not very weak initially. Yeah, you was very weak initially.
Hello.
If you want to, please.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know how long I had. I don't know. In between, it was. I got disconnected. So what I was told about a few job roles which will have to be newly included. I think they are already there, but if required, a revision of the job roles, particularly in view of the emerging opportunities in Kerala, can be considered. The one is regarding value addition. We are going to establish a series of community common facility centers across the state. They are all coming up under the auspicious of cooperative banks and the department, etc. So there will be huge opportunity. Mechanization is another important. I think it is gaining momentum nowadays. Precision farming is also gaining momentum. So based on the specific requirements, if there could be a redefinition of the job roles which are offered by ASCII, that would be better. That is one thing which I would like to point out. And another important thing is regarding the procedures. I think many people have pointed it out. The procedures that the senior faculty members have to undergo once they come for this selection as trainers, I think some leniency can be shown towards them, particularly if they are professors from the State Agriculture University, again undergoing a process of selection, undergoing another interview, particularly in front of people who are, I would say, much lesser in terms of experiences, expertise. That would lead to dissatisfaction among people. Many people had complained it. If that could be resolved, that would be better. Maybe a certificate from the university itself qualifies him or her as a trainer. So these are the two things which I wanted to point out. So it was, I appreciate that the ASCII has taken this effort to orient the entire KVK fraternity to the activities of, and also particularly Diary Director who has taken this initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you in this program right from the beginning. And we have been observing and deliberating. I thank all of them. I thank all the KVKs from Atari side. I also thank our director, Dr. Venkata Subramanian, for leading this program. Mr. Ishwar, now I hand it over to you. Please conclude the program. Very important points have emerged for both KVKs as well as ASCII, as well as Atari. We will take note of all of those suggestions and we will take them forward in a befitting manner. Thank you very much, Mr. Ishwar. I hand it over to you now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Conducting this brief interaction with the Director of Extensions of various universities in the Atari zone. I would now take the final words on the program. I take this opportunity to thank all the officials of the universities and the Krishi Vijnana Kendras across the Atari zone here. There are very interesting points that have emerged through the discussion, and we will be able to attempt to do some justice for what is being asked during the discussion here. I take this opportunity to thank firstly the Director of Atari Zone 11, Dr. Venkata Subramaniam, who has shown really a keen interest in order to host this program and run through. And it shows that he was present from the 10 o'clock in the morning and until now. And we did had a couple of difficulties in the beginning, including at Atari Zone, where we had a problem of connectivity. Technology fails sometime, and we do have resilience to overcome such difficulties. And we had seen that happening since morning. And I take this opportunity to thank him wholeheartedly from entire team from our ASCII for this.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
And I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Chandra Gowda, who also guided us in preparing the complete schedule of the program, and also was able to come up with new ideas when such things are happening. And we want all the support from Atari Zone here, sir. Through your leadership, we will take things forward. We will also try to solve problems and some bottlenecks what we have discussed during the program, and take this up in order to ensure that smooth run of the program happens, whether it is RKVY or any other scheme that would come. And our CEO, who had actually encouraged us to host this program in the southern region, and this is the first program of this sort, and this is very interesting to know that quite a bit of training happens through the skilling platform, and there is a ways and means how we can actually make more employable youth that comes out of this skilling. That is where we need to concentrate on now. And there is a lot of demand that is coming from various quarters also that front. We need to work out a methodology. In fact, we had a discussion yesterday also. Dr. Jiju was mentioning that there is a demand from the Kerala Skill Academy that something like 70% of the youth who get trained should be placed. How it is actually going to happen and what kind of process we need to adopt. Some will actually have a self-employment, some will have a wage employment, some will have their own process to move on in their life, the way how skilling they have acquired during the programs. We need to look into that aspect also. I also take this opportunity to thank our CEO Satyendra Arya for this whole conceptualization of this program and taking forward. I also thank all our colleagues, including our senior colleague Colonel Gupta, who's guiding force on designing this program, discussing this program at various levels, and also putting together all these activities together to deliver this program today. I thank him for his guidance. Not last but not the least, all our colleagues, Mr. Raj, Sham, and Sukriti, Shrinkala, Vandana, all our colleagues who are dealing with various subject experts at subject expertise and different verticals in what we call verticals in ASCII, who manage different things in the program. I thank them one and all. If I have not left, I hope I have not left anyone. More importantly, the colleagues at Krishi Vidyana Kendras who have put in a lot of effort in joining this program. All the teams, we will work with you. We will reassure and assure with you that we will work with you in long run and share whatever information that is available with us and ensure that things will go on in a smooth fashion. We were supposed to end at 1:35 p.m. today. We took another few minutes to join and explain things properly along with you. We will also need a lot of help in terms of content development and other things. So we will come back to you. And here I conclude, again thanking Director Atari Zone 11 for his encouragement and the team Atari who have helped us to move on this program.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ajar. And then I, on behalf of all my KVK team, thank you actually, because Ishwar, you are the regional support for us, and we look forward to you for solving problems that KVKs are facing on a day-to-day basis. Thank you very much. We shall be in touch.
On behalf of me and Atari, I thank all of you from ASCII who's very much here to conduct this program very successfully. My gratefulness to Dr. Satyendra Arya and Dr. Ishwar Pujar and all colleagues, Dr. Raj, Vandana, Sukriti, and Shyamlal, and Colonel, then Rajkumar, Colonel Gupta, and all my DE colleagues from US Bangalore, US Raichur, US Shimoga, and then from Bidar, and other participants from KVKs, as well as Atari, Dr. Chandragouda, for conducting this program in excellent mode. And let us join in the national mainstream. My special thanks to Dr. Jijupi Alex and our other colleagues who have joined this program. Feedback to this ASCII program to conclude in a very fruitful manner. Thank you very much.